broadcast crew this evening, play-by-play man Don Chevrier and color analyst Bill Clement.
Well, Steve, as you know, there's nothing quite as exciting as international hockey. The Olympics have shown us that. The Canada Cup has shown us that. It is special because it doesn't happen every year. The last Canada Cup held 3 years ago. An exciting prospect for the tournament, Bill, and certainly tonight's game.
Well, I'm excited about it, Don, because it is such a big game in spite of the fact that it is just the first game. Finland coming into the Canada Cup is the weak link, but they think they can beat Team USA, and they're going to have to start winning hockey games immediately if they want to advance to the Final Four. Team USA, on the other hand, obviously knows that Finland is the weak link. Tonight is a game they have to have, and I think the team that loses tonight will not make the Final Four.
The USA expected to win. Will they win tonight?
Well, both teams are loaded with NHL players. I think Team USA's NHL players are better. They should win tonight.
Well, as you say, the winner at least has got a shot at going on to the playoffs, the semifinals, to decide the ultimate Canada Cup winner. Steve?
We'll be back to the Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut in just a moment for the opening ceremonies, the opening face-off, and a whole lot more. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this 1987 Labatt Canada Cup game between Team Finland and Team USA. The officials for tonight's game are all from Canada. The referee, Don Kocharski. The linesmen, Ron Finn and John ДАмико. And now here are the starting lineups for Team Finland. In goal, number 1, Kari Takko. On defense, number 8, Vil Siren. Also on defense, number 29, Reho Rutsalainen. Starting at center, number 20, Matti Hagman. On right wing, number 17, Jari Kurri. And on left wing, number 10, Esa Tikkanen. The head coach for Team Finland, Rano Korpi. And now the starting lineup for Team USA. Starting in goal, number 34, John Vanansbruck. On defense, number 4, Kevin Hetcher. And number 5, Rod Längway. Starting at center, number 21, Bobby Carpenter. On right wing, number 29, Joel Otto. And on left wing, number 26, Ed Olczyk. The head coach for Team USA, Bob Johnson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as is the custom in international hockey, the two captains will exchange gifts on behalf of their team. Captain Jari Kurri from Team Finland and Rod Längway from Team USA. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the ceremonial face-off, please welcome the President and General Manager of the Hartford Whalers, Emil Francis. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the national anthems. Tonight, singing the Finnish anthem will be Mike Morissette, followed by Tony Harrington singing the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oi maamme Suomi, sunnyn maa, soi sana kultainen. Elaksoa e kukkula, e vettä ronda rukkampaa. Kun kotimaata pohjoinen maakalle siisien. Elaksoa e kukkula, e vettä ronda rukkampaa. Kun kotimaata pohjoinen maakalle siisien.
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
We'll be back to the Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut in just a moment for the opening face-off. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
Chevrier and Bill Clement with you here in Hartford, the Civic Center. We are all set to go. The United States and Finland, Game 1 of the Canada Cup of 1987. The U.S. in the blue to our right, and the Finnish team, which has fared poorly, just a win and a tie in all the previous Canada Cups, in the white to our left. And the top line, -1 of the Edmonton Oilers, starts for Finland. The difference is that Matty Hagman from Helsinki is the center, not Wayne Gretzky. He's playing with Team Canada.
Just a small difference.
John Vangbiesbroek in goal for the United States, a solid goalie for the New York Rangers. In behind the Finnish goal, Ruotsalainen of the Edmonton Oilers fade into clear. The United States pressing for the puck there behind the goal, trying to snap it in front. Bobby Carpenter gets it out in front, and Ed Olczyk unable to get the shot away as the Finnish team brings it back to the U.S. blue line. Rink wide left side, broken up there by Kevin Hatcher. He and his teammate, Rod Lengway, the Capitals partners on defense to start the game for the United States, and they have no trouble clearing it back to center ice. Ruotsalainen drifts it into the United States zone. Vangbiesbroek holds it there for Hatcher. Hatcher up the right side, sliding free at center ice, past Pat LaFontaine. LaFontaine couldn't get to it. A loose puck is left there, finally picked up by Matty Hagman, the center for Finland. On the left side now for the United States, Kelly Miller on the ice as the Americans change, dumps it down to the corner. Left there for Hannu Virta of Finland, and shot back down the ice. The United States, Bill, there missing a chance to capitalize, put the pressure on.
But they're still pressing, Don, and that's going to be a key for the Finns. It's going to be whether or not their defensemen can withstand the onslaught of the big U.S. forwards. The Finnish defensemen aren't that big, not noted for physical play, so we'll watch for the U.S. team to get in tight around the net and behind the net and create all kinds of problems.
There's the first good scoring chance for Finland. The slap shot was blocked by the goalie Vangbiesbroek. It came from the left point from Christian Rudo, and he got some wood on that, as now the officials, all from the NHL, have to break a little rhubarb up there by the U.S. goal. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Stay with us from Hartford, Connecticut.
Well, a couple of penalties handed out. Before the penalties, a big save by John Vangbiesbroek coming through a screen. Boy, they're tough enough when you can see them. Mikko Makala of the New York Islanders, there he is to the left of your screen. He's wearing number 24 for the Finnish team, and he's been whistled off for 2 minutes along with one of the Americans. There's Bill Housley. Now, the difference between this international rules that we're having tonight and the NHL, these teams will now play 4 skaters aside. In the NHL, the coincidentals cancel out. Here they don't. It should be freewheeling.
Yeah, one fewer guy for each side now. Let's see what the Americans do with more room to work up the ice as they force it over the Finnish blue line. In goal for the Finns is Kari Takko of the Minnesota North Stars. And quickly, Finland brings it back up to the center ice area. Suminen, an NHLer with Edmonton and Vancouver, plays it down beside the United States goal. This is Chris Chelios, the Montreal Canadiens, trying to work it up. Could not clear. A shot goes off the post on the short side there as a good chance for Blomqvist, closing right in for Finland.
But did he ever take a chance to make his chance, Chevy? He actually pinched in with two of the U.S. players moving out on him, and had Neil Broughton, along with Mark Johnson, gotten by them, they had at least a 2-on-1.
Well, as you look quickly at some of those names, Blomqvist not typically finished, but the rest all are. And you'll notice names from the National Hockey League. In fact, 10 members of this team will be playing in the NHL in the season just ahead.
And they have 4 others who have had NHL experience. So that's one of the reasons that we all look at this Finnish team as the most representative that Finland has had. And, you can watch them in the morning skate this morning. They were practicing dumping it around the boards. They've really become North Americanized because of their players from the NHL.
This is Rod Lengway of the Washington Caps, playing it on the left side for Bob Brook, who was in the '84 Olympics. 3 or 4 members of this team played in Sarajevo for the United States, and got a couple from the 80 gold medal team of 1980. But for Finland, it's Ruotsalainen now dropping it back. His teammate picks it up. Jari Curry, the ever-dangerous wide winger, did not get the shot away. Is played behind the net now for Sirin. Cleared in front, and Briesbuk drops it right in behind again on the stick of Bob Brook of Minnesota. And he will start it very slowly up the right side for the United States. They headman the puck. It hops over the stick of Kelly Miller, and now the Finns have it. Very dangerous Reijo Ruotsalainen starts it off to Jari Curry, and they leave it there. The U.S. picking it up. Here's Bobby Carpenter now with the L.A. Kings, one-on-one. He gets taken down. There's going to be a penalty called here.
Sure.
And the officials, by the way, are all from the National Hockey League. Don Kохарski, the referee, John ДАмико, and Ron Finn, the linesman.
Great effort by Carpenter. All reports are that Bobby Carpenter has had a great camp with this Team USA and has played some of his best hockey. He's trying to recover from a real dismal season following a 53-goal season. He was the first U.S. player to score 50 goals in the National Hockey League, and he just made a great effort to try and get around the Finnish defender that time. Had to drag him down. He left him no alternative.
Taken down by that man, number 7, Timo Jutala. And so the advantage goes to the United States now with a bonus of a face-off right beside Kari Taco in goal for Finland. And a look at the players who have made this United States team. There are those who could have been here and would like to have been here, but injuries kept many away. But it's a good lineup that Bob Johnson has. As play is underway again now in the Finnish zone. From the point, this is Suter getting a blast away. The rebound is loose and shot just wide by Joey Mullen. They bang away at the goal crease of Kari Taco, who finally smothers the puck with the best scoring chance of the game on the power play for the U.S. right there.
Yeah, and that's the kind of pressure we can expect to see Team USA put right in front of Kari Taco. And you know what he's been famous for, what He's become famous because he wears white pads. Check his pads. He's the only guy in the NHL that does. He made a pretty good glove save, and I always watch for the European goalies how they use their glove, because we have to remember they don't play much baseball in Europe, do they? So a goalie that has a quick glove hand has had to work at it playing hockey, not baseball.
And I have not heard of them playing very much in Finland, that is for sure. The United States power play continues now. Team USA with the heat on. Standing open is Suter, waiting for the pass out. Digging it out is Chris Chelios. Back to Suter now. 2 players come back on the ice, one from each side, but a sparkling save by Taco.
Another great glove save with traffic in front of him. Big, tall, stand-up guy that challenges the shooters. You can see him. He's 6'2", and he gets an eye on this one. And when I say challenge, he really moves out to cut down the angles on the shooters that are moving in on him. You can see that he's a good 4 feet out of his crease. And at times when you're moving in on a goalie that moves out and is also big, you say to yourself, I know there's a goal in there behind him somewhere. I just can't seem to find it.
How do I get to it? What is the key to open that door?
It's intimidating. The bigger the goalie is, shooters and big goal scorers will tell you big goalies are intimidating at times.
Well, Taco's pads might as well be red, because he has been hot as fire here in the early going against the United States. As the pressure continues, they still have a man advantage. Housley now on the left gets it over to Suter. His shot falls in behind the goal. Back on the stick of Gary Suter again. Plays it down behind the goal. Tipped there by the Finnish defender. But Finland still in big trouble here. Digging it out is Mullen. Waiting to make his play now. Feeds it behind the goal once again. Then slides in the slot out in front. U.S. with plenty of time left here to take advantage. Working it around very swiftly. Right in front there is the shot by Otto. That was blocked by the Finnish defender. The United States still with the pressure. Gary Suter now. Getting it across to Bobby Carpenter. Back on the point. The shot is a weak one, but held in here on the left side by Suter. Down beside the goal, right in front, and the skate of Taco, he jams it there and hangs on.
What a mismatch in front. There's number 29, Reijo Ruotsalainen. He's 5'7". Joel Otto is close to 6'5", and that was the matchup. And there's no way the Finns can move a guy like Joel Otto out of there, so they're doing the smart thing and playing between Otto and the shot coming from the point. That last time, Ruotsalainen was able to knock it down and dump it back.
We have played about 4.5 minutes. It is scoreless, but that is courtesy of Taco in goal for Finland. The reason it is scoreless from the Finnish point of view. Both teams making changes now. There still is some time left in that penalty, 44 seconds. The penalty assessed to Timo Jutila.
Team USA naturally wants their power play to work. Bob Johnson, after being noted for being a coach not only of University of Wisconsin and the Calgary Flames, is noted for power play. In his 5 years in Calgary, his teams have finished in the top 3 in the NHL, and he pointed out power play as one of the keys to his team in this tournament because they're really short of big scorers.
Mark Johnson from the Olympic team of 1980. Keeps it in, plays it down beside the goal. Here is Pat LaFontaine from the Olympic team of 84 for the United States, keeping it in. On the stick now of Ed Olczyk, also in Sarajevo 3 years ago. Johnson blasts from the point, blocked by the Finnish defenders, and they simply clear away to center ice. With about 20 seconds left now in the penalty to Jutila. The United States breaking quickly back to center ice. Across the line they go with a drop pass over on the right boards. Back on the point here. Here is the slap shot going well wide, but contained on the near point by Johnson. Beating it ahead now for Pat LaFontaine. They battle along the boards. LaFontaine back to Johnson. Getting set. Shooting. Blocked by a Finnish stick and cleared to the blue line back to center ice. They try to feed the free penalized player and almost got it to him, but the U.S. brings it right back in. Here's the shot. Tackle the save. Rebound. Tries to hang on. He will. More trouble on his doorstep, but he responds to the occasion. It is still scoreless in Hartford. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Nyland and Kurt Fraser for the United States, and the puck, it seems, has been exclusively in Finland's zone for the last 4 minutes of play. The game is only 5.5 minutes old, but mostly USA as the pressure continues, and a bounding puck very calmly plucked out of the air by Mr. Taco.
What do you think of this line? Chris Nyland of the Canadians on the right side. He's wearing number 30. Kurt Fraser, Chicago Blackhawks. He's number 8 on the left, and at center, Bobby Brook from Minnesota. And Ted Sater, who is one of Bob Johnson's co-coaches or assistants here, said they are our trenchmen, and we really need this line to do something in the Canada Cup. By the time we meet the Canadians and also the Soviets, this line could be a big key for us, and I agree with them. They're tough guys.
And a solid defense unit behind them right now in Lэngуэй and Hетчер from the Washington Capitals. And once more, Taco has to address that bouncing puck in behind his goal. The Finns have not had more than one decent shot on goal, and John Vambisbruck, but now they bring it in. Calmly steered away by Hatcher over to the near boards and pounced on by the United States. But they're going to get a penalty call here.
They sure are. Chris Nyland did one of his decapitation specials on one of the Finns when he was going into the boards. And Don Kocharski was all the way on the other side of the ice. I saw Nyland do it from up here. I wondered if Kocharski had seen him. Obviously he had. His hand went up right away. And, you know, as tough, I mentioned the trenchmen. Nyland's one of them. They're going to have to be careful against the European teams not to take penalties. Watch this. Top right of your screen. Boy, Nyland went for him, and the Finn just deflected his stick right up over his head, and that's something they're going to have
2 minutes anywhere, and maybe something that you shouldn't be taking. First, Nyland will reflect on that now. He gets his high-sticking penalty at 5:52 of the first period. It's the first time the United States has been shorthanded. So we'll see what Finland's power play looks like here as they send out Matty Hagman to center that line of Tikkanen and Curry, the latter two of the Edmonton Oilers. Timo Jutila backtracks now behind his own goal, and a very hot goalie in the first period, Kari Taco. And the Finnish team comes away now. Hagman, who plays in Helsinki, Finland, brings it in. Bad pass is made, plucked off by Bobby Carpenter, and the United States just taking time killing it. They make a bad pass. It's back in Finland's hands at their own blue line. Ruotsalainen addresses the United States line, can't penetrate it. Lead pass fed ahead, dumped across, nobody home initially, and now the United States, to avoid the offside, will backpedal and shoot it down the ice to kill off valuable time. Still a minute and 12 seconds left in the American penalty, but the Finns no major threat thus far in that center. Jutila, rink wide left side, backhanded down behind Vambisbruck. He leaves it there. Finland picking it up. It is on the near boards for Jutila. He takes his time, can't decide where to put it, almost lost the puck, but keeps it in play. Tikkanen now for Curry, and it is finally cleared back to the Finnish blue line. So a very ineffective power play at this stage.
And what an obvious difference between the Finns' power play and Team USA's. That whole sequence in the U.S. zone, there wasn't one Finnish player in front of the net. They like to work it around. They're not big on standing in front and getting beat up while they're waiting for the puck to come.
Rico for the Finns. Drops it back at the point. Hard slap shot, but no challenge for Vangvisbruck. Deflected way over top into the crowd. And now we have 25 seconds remaining, and a penalty that so far has not been injurious for the hopes of the United States in this scoreless first period with 12 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in it.
There's Rod Lengway, and he is wearing the C, and he should be wearing the C. Brian Murray, his coach with the Washington Capitals, calls him the inspirational leader of his team, and he also sets the level of work ethic on that team. Gee, he's just a tireless guy and an inspiring performer. See there, he's won the Norris Trophy twice. He was born in Formosa, Taiwan. His dad was in the service. There aren't many players from Taiwan in this hockey league, are there?
I haven't seen too many until Mr. Lengway. All right, just seconds remaining in Finland's power play advantage against the United States. Ruutu can't feed it in front. Drops it back on the point. This is Virta getting it across to Makala. His shot was blocked, but still in Finnish possession. 7 seconds left of the penalty now. The Finns better hurry if they want to get a shot off and maintain the advantage. Right beside the goal, and it is drifted wide by Skriko, closing right in on top of Vangvisbruck. And now the United States back to full strength. Almost tipped in there by the side. A close call for the United States. And play is whistled down. The U.S. did well to avoid a goal being scored on them there. But it remains scoreless here in the first period. And this is from Hartford, the Labatt Canada Cup. Bounce on that puck. Raimo Helminen centers the Finland line here. The face-off in the United States zone. It is scoreless in the first period of the first Canada Cup game of '87 between the United States and Finland here in Hartford. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you might be. You're going to see intense nation-to-nation competition here the next couple of weeks. Gary Suter. Conley getting it ahead at center ice to Pat LaFontaine, who falls heavily into the boards. It rolls down to Taco, and he will leave it there for his defense player, Gronstad. Bloomquist, rink wide. An aimless pass that is rapidly shot back in, and it is whistled down at the blue line of the Finnish hockey team. It remains scoreless. We remind you that this telecast is protected by copyright. Any unauthorized use is strictly prohibited. Well, a crowd still filling in here in Hartford. A little hard for a lot of people to get adjusted, Bill, to hockey in the month of August. But you were at the National Sports Festival. You saw it in the month of July.
Absolutely. And I think the fans here, they show up on time when their Hartford Whalers are playing. But this isn't quite as urgent. Although many of them are interested in this hockey game, they'll be probably trickling in throughout the first period.
And they will be pouring in next week when the United States plays the Soviet Union a week from tonight right here in Hartford Civic Center. The U.S. has certainly had abundant chances to take the lead in this hockey game. It is dropped into the Finnish corner now. The race is on. Fed for Aaron Broughton. He gets tied up quickly by a Finnish defender. Siren. Now along the sideboards, the U.S. containing it as Johnson flips it back down to Broughton. Shot across by Suter. Back on the right point. Here is the shot. Tied up in a maze of players, and the Finns bring it away with Jari Kurri, the ever-dangerous right winger. He's tired. He'll head for the bench for a change and dropped it behind the United States goal. Down to Mr. Taco again, who's been brilliant for the Finnish team and has certainly held them in this game for the first half of this first period as we near the 10-minute mark now. Bob Brook to center. Works it in behind to Chris Nyland. Gets it out on the point. Held there by Kevin Hatcher. Then it is whistled down for a face-off which will come just inside Finland's blue line.
Gee, I just saw the Finns win a one-on-one confrontation, and I'm not sure that's not the first one they've won in this hockey game. Somebody banged Chris Nyland off the puck. He's a big, strong guy, and that should be the difference between these two teams. There's Petri Skriko, the star right winger of the Vancouver Canucks. Boy, when he is hot, he is really hot. I talked to Pat Quinn, Vancouver's new president and general manager, yesterday, and he said Skriko might be our best all-around player. We think that he's going to turn into one of the best in the NHL.
Now Nyland leaves it there at the blue line. Finland pressing forward across center ice, but can't catch up to Kevin Hetcher. They finally force it down to the United States zone. Längway, a good bump there on Jukka Seppo. Rudo can't come up with it. Coming away on the left side is Kurt Fraser of the Chicago Blackhawks. Waiting to be set up by Hatcher. He couldn't get the pass to him. Flipped by Mike Ramsey just inside the line. Finland up with it there. Back in the hands of the United States. The Americans pouncing much more quickly, much more opportunist once the puck is on the other side of center ice than their Finnish counterparts. About 9 minutes and 15 seconds to play in this first period. Still scoreless. Delayed offside is waved off. Now coming away is Bobby Carpenter. Carpenter gets bumped off the puck, and it comes all the way back to center ice. The U.S. having trouble sustaining the pressure we saw earlier, Bill.
Well, the Finns are very gifted skill-wise, and they pass the puck very well, and it's always difficult. You have to be so careful when you're forechecking them. I thought Bob Johnson might want to use a 2-1-2 forechecking system with 2 men in deep, but he's going with a 1-2-2. Watch this hit by Rod Längway on Mikko Makala. We mentioned him being a work ethic kind of leader. He's also a punishing competitor. 6'3", 215 pounds, and he is not reluctant to throw his body around. Boy, you put your head down against Rod Längway, you end up looking up at the rafters in the building.
Joel Otto won the faceoff. He dug it back to Ramsey, and the Americans quickly put it inside the Finnish zone once again. Olczyk couldn't make the play. Finland coming away now 2-on-2 with Otto digging hard from behind to provide support. Again, the United States wins the puck. Olczyk to the line. Feeding on the left side, just wide by Mike Ramsey, the defenseman from the 80 Olympic team. 8.5 minutes remaining in the first period. Still scoreless at Hartford, the United States and Finland. Canada Cup hockey action. Siren shoots it down the ice. Not far enough to be called for icing. As the play gets a little ragged now, and the U.S. tries to regroup at its own zone. Left wing pass will send Suter away, feeding it back into the center zone. Here comes Kelly Miller down the left side, sliding it in front, nobody home. All the way back on the right point for Chelios. He didn't get a good shot away. Well, the Americans making the most of opportunities earlier, not clicking as they get inside this Finnish zone time and time again. They have certainly had much the best of the play here in the opening period. Here's the most effective line for Finland so far, the one they're counting on the ice. Hageman, Curry, and Tikkanen, but even they can't penetrate the center red line. There's a bump in the corner by Wayne Presley for the United States. Keeps it alive for Längway on the left point. Booming a shot. That is blocked. Taco sending it back to his teammates. And across the ice it goes and back to center ice out of harm's way. The U.S. will change on the fly now. As Finland again unable to mount an attack, simply lobs it back to center ice. The United States continues to dump it right back into the Finnish zone. Mark Johnson losing it. Long lead pass was broken up in the center ice area by Ramsey. Finland carrying on, but offside over on the left wing. And the part of Petri Skriko. It remains scoreless here. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Mark Johnson getting ready to center Aaron Broughton and Joey Mullen for the United States. No score. Less than 7 minutes to play in the first period. The last 5 or 6 minutes certainly very choppy and very unsustained on the part of offensive thrust by either team. The United States has had certainly the best of what chances have existed. Quick break with Broughton now. For Johnson shooting, and that is blocked smartly by Taco. Johnson didn't get all he wanted on that shot. The trick for the Americans is to sustain the pressure in the Finnish zone, make something happen. They do keep it in there now. Broughton behind the goal, centers for Johnson. He bangs at it, couldn't get control. Now Phil Housley with it. He tries to make the pass. It's broken up by Finland. But the United States not getting caught by the Finns. Very quick to come back and recover as the play reaches their own blue line. Ruutu for Finland. He plays for the Buffalo Sabres, joins the melee in the corner as they jam it up for a face-off with 6 minutes and 5 seconds to play.
We had talked about the number of NHL players that are representing both of these hockey teams here tonight. 11 teams are represented on the U.S. team and 3 on the Finnish team. So we got 14 NHL teams here tonight. And Don, I'm trying to get a count for which teams aren't represented in this entire tournament. And I'm not sure that Toronto or Detroit have any representatives. Steve Yzerman was cut by the Canadian team. And I got a feeling that Peter Klima is not being welcomed by the Czechoslovakian team since he defected.
Wendell Clark did not make the Canadian team, and certainly no Toronto player for either team in this game tonight.
Al Iafrate was on the original U.S. roster, but he also was released.
Yes. Gary Suter brings it in for the United States, and a tumble down in the corner, shot quickly in front, and if Taco did not grab that, Chris Nyland was ready to pounce on it. 5:51 to play in the first period now. It is scoreless. In case you're wondering, Suomi is finished for Finland, the name of the country of Scandinavia that's produced so many good individual hockey players over the years, but has trouble putting together pretty strong teams in the Olympics and Canada Cup.
Yeah, that's exactly what the book reads on Finland. Great individuals, not really good teams.
Here is Suter now closing in for the drive. Another smart save, and Taco covers up once again. He has denied the American team so many rebounds tonight, Bill.
And that was something that he had to fight when he came into the NHL. He was the most valuable player in the American League in Springfield the year before he came to Minnesota, which was just a year before last. And he has come such a long way. Played 38 games for the North Stars last year, and is a real popular guy on their team. He's worked hard at learning English, worked hard at his craft, and it's really showing. I think they'll be counting on him to be a goalie of the future for them.
Bob Brook on the draw, wins it, gets it back on the point. A hard, quick shot by Chris Chelios, who plays for the Montreal Canadiens, is handled by Kerry Taco. Why don't we be seeing more of young Mr. Taco with the Minnesota North Stars as the NHL season unwinds?
Well, there's a guy that's very familiar to people that watch the New York Rangers and also the Edmonton Oilers now. He's wearing a Stanley Cup ring, having only played the playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers. He was dealt from the Rangers to the Oilers, and he was playing in Switzerland. They brought him over for the playoffs. He got himself a ring. What did he say? I'm going back to Switzerland. He won't be in Edmonton this year.
Well, he's been a good one out there, and that is certainly Switzerland's game. The United States forechecking very well, trying to break up the Finnish attacks as they unravel. Loose puck in front, and Vanabeesbrook gets his first call for a good long time now to contain that rolling puck with 5:22 left in period 1. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. And with you here in the broadcast booth, Steve Cooney will be coming along during the intermission to bring you some personalities and the human side of the Canada Cup as it gets underway in Hartford, Connecticut tonight. Finland now, a little pushing and shoving. That is Joel Otto centering for the United States. And they will leave the attacker, Matty Hagman, there to await the drop of the puck. They're going to clear him out of there.
Kevin Hatcher, number 4. They have a big unit out there now between Hatcher and Otto alone. Langway's 6'3", Hatcher's 6'4", Otto's close to 6'5".
And it is flipped in among the spectators, a couple of rows deep for a stoppage in play. This is not the pace that you come to expect in the Canada Cup, certainly, and maybe it's because it is early, but both teams, the Finns, certainly very tentative, I think.
Well, they are tentative, and they play kind of a containment game. They only send one man into forecheck, and they have 2 men high in the offensive zone and then 2 defensemen backing up. They don't really feel that they have the forechecking ability, the toughness, or the scoring power to send 2 men in. Similarly, the U.S. team, if they're lacking one thing, Don, it's scoring power. Sure, they got Joey Mullen, 47 goals in the NHL last year. You got Pat LaFontaine, 38 goals, but it drops off after that. So they have to play a kind of a containment game and wait for their breaks as well. I think that's why we're seeing a choppy game.
Hatcher got ridden off there as he went sailing in, and again, Taco comes up with it, and there's pushing and shoving in the goal crease of Finland, and the goal is off its mooring. So the frustration may be building a little bit now. What they couldn't achieve with smooth skating and sharp passing, they're taking out this way.
Well, you know, the Finns, wow.
Bobby Carpenter all tangled up there.
Oh, he's got Esa Tikkanen.
Maybe that's an old grudge from the NHL.
Well, if there's one player on the Finnish team that is willing to mix it up, it's Esa Tikkanen. And I think it might go back to the fact that he played a year in the Saskatchewan Junior League when he was 16 years old for Regina, then went back to Finland, played 3 years, and then showed up with the Oilers a couple of years ago, and he's not afraid. I can still see him at Rendezvous 87 against the Soviets when he played for Team NHL, standing up to the Soviets, sticking his nose right up next to Fedosov and saying, "You want to try me? Come on."
There'll be a couple of roughing penalties here, and that Saskatchewan League you're talking about is for junior players, 19, 20 years of age and under. It is in Western Canada, and you have to be tough or you won't survive a game out there.
Good point.
He
Very
learned.
good point. And the Finns know that they are the least physical team. Of all the 6 that are here, they seem to be the country that has adopted physical play at last. Even the Swedes now, definitely the Czechs. Look at Ruotsalainen, he's right in there in the middle. All 5'7", 168 pounds soaking wet of him.
Europeans wouldn't do this before, but the ones who've come to the National Hockey League and learned the ways are quite eager to mix it with the best of them now.
And the Finns, knowing that they aren't the most physical team, also are aware that they have to stand up. When push comes to shove, if they want to start winning hockey games in this tournament, they are going to have to stand up and be counted. And I'm sure they will be pressed to do so by the American team, but they're going to have to stand up, and that time they did.
Again, with offsetting penalties in the NHL, it wouldn't affect the manpower, but here under these rules internationally, it takes a man for each team off the ice for the next 2 minutes. We have 4:45 left in a scoreless first period in Hartford here. This crowd waiting for the United States to break out. But it is Finland now breaking out as the puck is slapped wildly by Christian Ruutu around the boards and all the way back to center ice, and Finland has to reorganize there. Anu Virta with it now. Drops it back into the finish zone on the stick of Timo Jutila. Jutila now feeding Ruutu down the left side. He is being watched there by Phil Housley. Lobs a soft shot into the corner that goes aimlessly, and the United States coming up with it. This is Mike Ramsey squeezing it out across the blue line and all the way down the ice. Left there by the goaltender Tico for Petri Skriko, who plays for Vancouver in the National Hockey League. Finns very slow to attack and approach the United States zone, and as a result, the American defenders are back there waiting for them time and time again. Certainly no fast breaks for the Finns. Here's Kelly Miller with a break inside the line. He is turned away with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left. Now, offside pass. It was a thing of beauty, but it wasn't illegal to Suominen, and he will turn back. So no score here late in the first period in Hartford, and this is the Labatt Canada Cup. Play resuming in the center ice area with 3.5 minutes left of the first period. It's been a very ragged first period, very disorganized on the part of both teams, and really lacking the team speed we have come to know in the Canada Cup. Good defensive play there by Chris Chelios, poking it off an attacker's stick. Finland carrying on behind the goals. Suominen dumping it in front, but pouncing out of there is Aaron Broughton. And again, no sustained attack for the United States. Each team a man short now and a pair of roughing penalties. Westbrook, just to get his stick on the puck, comes out to meet it there behind his goal. He hasn't had much to do. Shots overwhelmingly in favor of the United States, but they have failed to score, and there is an offside there with number 12 in the play, trailing Mark Johnson. Well, the action will heat up as this tournament continues. There's no question of that. Already the United States in a couple of preseason games pre-tournament games, did lose 7-6 to Team Canada. Team Canada, along with the Soviets, certainly favored to win. They also lost another to the Canadians, 11-2, but the fact they scored 6 goals was encouraging in that one game.
And 4 of them were power play goals, and that was what was encouraging to Bob Johnson. He looks at this, and I think I look at this tournament too, like the NHL playoffs, and the keys are very similar. Number 1, he mentioned goaltending. And I think that Team USA has great goaltending in Vanbisbruck and Tom Barrasso. They also have Bob Mason on their roster. There's Bob Johnson now. Ted Sater from the Buffalo Sabres is on the headset. Second key that Bob Johnson mentioned was team defense, and they got the players that can really do that well. Third thing is power play, and that's especially important for Team USA because they're a little light in the scoring department. The fourth thing, leave it to Bob Johnson to add this, enthusiasm. What an enthusiastic guy, and he just wants his players to want to win more than the next guy.
Hagelman sent Curry inside the USA zone, but he couldn't capitalize on it, so the Finns now have it behind their own net once again. And again, not breaking quickly, giving the Americans plenty of time to go back and await them between the American blue line and center ice. And as a result, the U.S. wins it back. This is Ed Olczyk now digging in the corner, bumping hard there. Couldn't get it to Bobby Carpenter. Right side pass coming over to Yari Curry, quickly broken up by Bob Brook. Sirid all the way across the ice. The shot from center ice now as the Finns are tiring, as are the Americans. They will change on the go.
You know, Don, you can see an obvious difference when Jari Kurri has to play with Matty Hagman instead of Wayne Gretzky. Jari Kurri with the Oilers very seldom carries the puck up the ice. Wayne Gretzky does that, does all kinds of creative things, and Jari Kurri gets open and receives a pass once he gets open in the offensive zone. Tonight, so far, the Finns are asking Kurri to carry it up the ice. He's really not met with much success. That's not his game.
Compared to Gretzky, he probably thinks he's playing with Larry Hagman. Here is a chance, but blocked by a sliding Finnish defender.
Go JR. Go JR, go.
Who shot JR anyway? Dangerous rolling puck, trying to capitalize on it is Ruutu, but he's ridden off the play. And here's Hauсли for the United States now, smartly bringing it back to center ice. Skating down the right boards, waiting to make his pass, and he dumps it through the legs of Chris Nyland all the way back, and the goalie then, Vannbisbruck, had to come out to make sure of that. Here's a chance inside the line. Fraser, though, is whistled down, and they call the offside at the Finnish blue line with 1:16 to go in a scoreless first period. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. It's a very frustrating first period, both for the fans and for the United States team here in the Canada Cup. They simply have not cashed in. They've gone to the teller's cage, but haven't taken any money out.
I think the Finns would be happy to get out of the first period with a tie. Number one, Kari Taco has had to make far more saves than John Vannbisbruck, but they had such a tough time getting here. Their trip from Lethbridge, Alberta, where a couple of nights ago they played Czechoslovakia, to here in Hartford reads like a horror story. We get a chance, we'll tell you about it. Their equipment didn't make it. They couldn't practice yesterday, and you had to know that they'd be a little rusty tonight. Their coach was a little down, Rauno Korpi. We talked to him before the game, and he said, well, very slowly, he said, I think we are the underdogs.
And the very unlucky underdogs of that.
Well, they were serious about it coming in, Don. They actually went to the lengths of reducing the size of one of the European rinks to fit the size of a 200 by 85 rink that they'll be playing here in North America. The European rinks are 200 long by 100 wide, and they said, we got to train in a rink that's 200 by 85, so they actually reduced the size of a rink and trained on it.
Yep, they reconstructed one in Helsinki. They're that serious about this tournament, and of course the Olympic Games coming up in Calgary next February. Just seconds left in the first period, 30 to be precise. Finland again try to do some rare forechecking in the American zone to contain the puck and put pressure on the United States, but it's brought away freely out to the center ice area. And called on the offside as number 11 for the United States, Kelly Miller, crossed the line with just 17 seconds left now.
Here's a look at Kelly Miller of the Miller playing family, Michigan State Spartans. He came through Ron Mason's program there. He has two younger brothers, Kevin and Kip, that are still there. I had a chance to see them down at the Olympic Sports Festival in July in North Carolina. And boy, what an asset he is for the Capitals. He is actually playing with a teammate here tonight, Bobby Carpenter, who he was traded for. It was Mike Ridley and Kelly Miller that went to the Washington Capitals for Bobby Carpenter. So now Miller and Carpenter get a chance to sit beside each other on a team bus and not cross each other's paths in midair.
Yeah, just 3 seconds to go in the period now, and it looks like it will end scoreless, save the 1 second that shows on the clock, as that is whistled down for a face-off offside just outside the Finnish blue line. The shots on goal have been enormous. The advantage against this man, Kari Taco, 12-4 for the United States, but he's been equal to the occasion. Kurri unable to get loose on that right wing, as we might have expected him to do. He's been as tentative as any of the Finnish players.
Yeah, when you think of number 99 of the Edmonton Oilers, you have to think of Jari Kurri, one of the greatest right wingers ever to play the game. Boy, he's had a series of fabulous seasons in Edmonton.
Well, it wasn't the greatest first period you will see, but perhaps it is just a warm-up for what these teams will give us in the remaining 2 periods here of this scoreless game in Hartford, the first game of the Canada Cup Hockey Series, nation against nation here in '87. From Hartford, this is the Labatt Canada Cup.
We're back to the Hartford Civic Center, where after 1 period of play, the score is Team USA nothing, Team Finland nothing. The only thing to show for that opening 20 minutes, 11 shots for the United States and 4 for Finland. Joining me now as our intermission guest in this first intermission, the captain of Team USA and also the captain of the Washington Capitals of the National Hockey League, Rod Langway. Rod, I guess it's kind of like a couple of boxers trying to feel each other out in that first period.
I think so. I think we gave them a little bit more respect than we should have, because it seemed like they had a lot of opportunities of passing the puck in the lanes, and they got a lot of opportunities, but they didn't, shoot the puck like a European team. And I think we better be careful of what they can do offensively. Defensively, we're putting pressure on their defense, and they've made some good stops in net for themselves.
prior to the game, everybody was saying that if the United States had a distinct advantage in this one, which most people figured you did, it was the fact that your sheer physical size would eventually wear them down.
Hopefully it works. I think we're hitting them pretty good, and I think we're getting them in the corner. They don't want to touch the puck in the corner, but if we give them free ice and let them wheel and pass the puck with time, they're going to burn us with their speed and their talent of puck control. But I think with a small building, and we're in a U.S. city, so I think that's going to be an advantage also.
How important is it for the United States to win the opening game of this tournament? Because I guess against a team like this, you can't even estimate the importance.
That's for sure. I think we've got to go out, I think, and win this game, and then hopefully beat Sweden on Monday night. I think those are the two biggest games. If we get that out of the way, then we more or less go into the medal rounds automatically. But I think we got to realize that we're not going to be the underdogs or the dark horse where we're going to surprise a lot of teams. They realize we have a lot of talent on the U.S. team, and we can play the game very well.
The hockey season ended late in May and was almost into June, as a matter of fact, for the two teams that made it through to the final. Here you are in August, back to training camp, early August. Now it's late August. The sweat's pouring off you. Is it tough to think hockey at this time of year?
Well, it's kind of tough, but I think this is a little bit different compared to, playing a month in training camp and double sessions and playing 4 nights in 4 different cities during training camp. But this is a lot of fun. I think it's a case where, like, we play tonight, we don't play until Monday, then we play Wednesday. So we have that break of time, and you have an opportunity to get out and enjoy the fellas that you don't usually see during the season. You're always playing against them and you're hitting them on the ice. So I think this is a nice feeling of getting the guys from the States together and showing that, we can play the game with anybody.
This is your 3rd Canada Cup. You also played in Rendezvous last year. Any hesitation at all when they asked you to join?
Not at all. I think I love the game, and we know we're not playing it for the money, but we know that the revenue is coming in for the Players Association, the pension plan, and I think there's only about 40 guys from the NHL playing, the USA team, the Canadian team, Sweden and Finland team, that we're going to benefit 470 guys all together, and it's going to help everyone.
Will it be an advantage to you going into the regular season in the National Hockey League to have had this camp?
Oh, for sure. I think I've lost about 6 or 7 pounds already, and I'll probably lose another 8 tonight. But it's a case where it's not the physical part of it, it's just your feet. You have a lot of trouble with getting your skates broken in and getting the aches and pains out. So coming into training camp, most of these guys will be in pretty good top shape.
Rod Langway, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck the rest of the way and the rest of the tournament.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll be back to the Hartford Civic Center in just a moment with our second guest, the general manager of Team USA, Lou Nanne. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. The score at the end of one period, Team USA nothing, Team Finland nothing. 11-4 the shots on goal in favor of the United States in that opening period. Joining me now at the Hartford Civic Center, the general manager of Team USA, Lou Nanne, who is also the general manager and the head man with the Minnesota North Stars of the National Hockey League. Lou, welcome. I guess obvious first question, what did you think of the opening period?
Well, I liked it to a certain extent, the fact that we didn't give them many chances. I didn't like our offense as well. I think that we're not moving the puck as well as we should, and we're certainly not screening the goaltender enough, especially from the shots from the point. We've got to create a little more havoc in front of the net. We've got to get some rebounds, and we've got to move the puck better than we are. We're trying a lot of long passes through people, and really we didn't have a sustained offensive effort. We had a couple of times when we generated some opportunities just through forechecking in the corner, but overall our play can be much better.
There was a suspicion going into the tournament that if the United States had an Achilles heel, it was a lack of firepower, and I guess that was borne out a little bit in that opening period. Maybe a little misleading because the teams were feeling each other out.
Well, we know that having some of our top people unable to play because of injuries, like Broughton, Trottier, Mark Howe, Dave Christian, etc., the offense that we can generate is certainly not going to be as potent as many teams in this tournament. So we've got to look to our goaltending and defense. And fortunately for us, that period, that's the type of period we had. But we can get better opportunities than we've had, and we should be able to score some goals. People like Joey Mullen, Pat LaFontaine, and Joel Otto have had a history of scoring, and certainly if they get the chances, they're capable. But we do have to generate some offense, and we also got Presley and Olchuk that have had good scoring years in the NHL. So we can score if we get the opportunity. We can't score as well as some of the teams, but we certainly have to get better chances than we're getting.
You've seen the American program growing and improving over the years. You've been involved in it, with it for a lot of years. Are you happy? Are you satisfied with where it's at this stage of its development?
We definitely are. This year we had 102 American boys playing the NHL at one time or the other, and if you look at the Canada Cups, I played in '76 and I've been the manager for the last 3, and the talent pool from each one has been significantly deeper. So it's tougher to pick a team, and usually you got better quality players as we're going along. And had we been able to get our best players, we certainly would have been one of the teams that have to be reckoned with. And had we been able to put that team together and even win, that wouldn't have surprised a lot of people that have seen these hockey players play. The difference now is you see more NHL players that have made a name for themselves, or American players that have made a name for themselves in the NHL. And that is something that I think you're going to see continue to grow, because they do have a strong college program. Their international programs are real good, and they do have a goal to shoot for with the Olympic team. It's all amateur players. And this is something that gives all the boys that are playing throughout the country, even though there aren't as many in number, the ones that do play really have a goal to shoot for, and many of them have been successful.
And even the ones who don't come up through the high school or college system in the United States are very often going to Canada to play major junior hockey, which is not a bad training ground either.
There's quite a few of them been going up there, especially in the Quebec League. And they're getting many boys out of the Michigan area, and some even out of Illinois. And it has been a good proving ground for them, a place where that they can improve their hockey and make the step into the NHL.
Lou Nanne, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck to you and the team the rest of the way. We're after one period here in Hartford, Connecticut. The United States and Team Finland tied at nothing. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
The neutral zone, and when the U.S. players are not able to skate in the neutral zone, they get no speed, and what we end up with is just people banging heads all over the ice and really not much offense being generated.
Well, there was some physical activity and also certainly a lot of good scoring chances for the Americans. Let's look at them now.
Well, Rod Lengway, when he was speaking to Steve Cooney, said that he might lose 8 pounds tonight, and one of the reasons is how he hits. Here's his hit on Mikko Makala. What's interesting, watch how Lengway hits him once and then gears up to pin him again. Look at Lengway. He is looking at Makala, wants to contain Makala, so it's not just the original hit. Lengway wants to hold him there right after the original hit. And one of the few scoring opportunities that the U.S. team had, this was Bobby Brook around behind the net. This is where they will have success. Chris Nyland's there, Kurt Fraser's there. Who's out front? Phil Housley is pinched in from defense, and this is one time where Kerry Taco ends up with some help from one of his defensemen and didn't have to make the save, but that's the kind of pressure Lou Nanne was talking about. They're going to have to generate a lot more heat on Kerry Taco, and Lou knows Taco pretty well, doesn't he? He's his goalie in Minnesota.
He certainly should, and he's very stingy when it comes to rebounds, as Team USA found out in that first period. Second period coming up shortly here from Hartford, and you're watching the Labatt Canada Cup. Hockey action here in Hartford tonight. The United States and Finland in a scoreless tie in that first period. And certainly this crowd here, which is lower than expected and nothing really to get excited about or get warmed up to in that first period. Maybe now the United States will turn things loose and take some of the speed that they certainly have, it seems, the aggressiveness that they indicate to the Finnish team.
Another thing, Don, that Lou Nanne mentioned when he was talking to Steve was the long passes, and you have to examine it a little further and say, why were there long passes? And to me, the key is positioning. You can't position yourself so far away from the puck carrier that he is forced to make a long pass. People are going to have to stay a little closer together and not try and open it up so much. The short pass is obviously far easier to make than the long pass. So if Team USA can get their defensemen up on the play and have the forwards not force the play so much way up ice, they'll have a lot more success, and they won't be forced to make that long pass through people.
Well, final words of encouragement for Kerry Taco, who in a revised shots on goal total stopped 11 in that first period, just 4 from Finland at the doorstep of John Vanabeesbrook of the New York Rangers in goal for Team USA. Again, the referee is Don Kowalski, John ДАмико, and Ron Finn, the linesman. They are all experienced and seasoned National Hockey League referees, although there are some differences, as we've explained to you, under international rules enforced during this tournament. There is Joel Otto of the Calgary Flames circling at center ice, ready for the drop of the puck. Battling there with number 20, Matty Hagman. Hagman shoots it down to Team USA zone. Kevin Hatcher behind his own goal. For his teammate, defense-mate Lengway, up the near boards. Lengway now has to backtrack. He's getting some pressure there from Finland. I'm sure their coach talked to them about keeping pressure inside the U.S. zone more consistently, and they showed a flash of it right there. But it is brought out by the Americans. Here is Ed Olczyk in over the line, and he leaves it there as it is shot back to center ice by Finland. Number 4 is Kevin Hatcher of the Washington Caps. Trying to send Otto away on the right side. Fails to do so. Winds up back in behind Vänbisbruck. For Länguэй. Pops it ahead on the left wing for Otto. In over the line. Closing it on goal. That's a shot going. It just drifts wide. Finnish player is taken down. There's going to be a penalty called against the United States. And it'll be tripping in the center ice area, which will give Finland the advantage of the power play as the center, Otto, will go to the penalty box.
And after a great offensive play, it's Otto that gets the penalty. He's a big man, but he has great speed and pretty good hands for a big guy. He just slips this one by the post. Now he's forced into a defensive position because his own shot went so wide. Here he comes chasing Christian Ruutu of the Buffalo Sabres. And whoop, he hooks him one too many times, and Christian made it look pretty good, didn't he? What do you want to give him on that one?
Well, I know what they're going to give this guy, 2 minutes, but there was a certain Academy Award aspect to the dive to the ice by the Finnish player, but no question a foul. And the referee Kохarski was simply trailing along behind, able to see the entire episode. Mike Ramsey plays it hard around the boards. It'll slide all the way down the ice and stop there by Kari Taco. Who will score the first goal of this Canada Cup? Will it be the United States or this team from Finland?
And I think the first goal will be a key. Neither of these teams will play that well when they're behind because they both lack great scoring punch. Ooh, there was a good short-handed try, but the U.S. team especially should play better when they have the lead. It will be tough for them to play catch-up hockey throughout this tournament.
This is Kelly Miller here with that good scoring chance. He let it go, and he almost popped in that first goal right there, a little too high.
Boy, I liked his wind-up. He hardly lifted his stick above his shoulder, so you really get the shot away much quicker. You don't telegraph it. It was up high on Kari Taco. I'm not even sure whether it would have gone in if Taco hadn't been there, but got to start putting rubber at him, start shooting pucks at him. Sooner or later, something has to go in. In the first period, very often when a goalie comes up with so many great saves as Taco did, you start wondering if you can get it by him, and you start being far more selective with your shots, and that's not the way to go about it. You have to continue to play the same way no matter how the goalie's playing.
Still a minute and 20 left in Finland's man advantage, the power play, but they don't do anything with that thrust into Team USA's territory. We'll regroup again as the goaltender Taco feeds Jutila. Now back on the right side. It is finally picked up by Jari Kurri, who skates to his opposite wing and then brings it up the ice for Finland. He feeds it ahead for Ruutsalainen, his former teammate. He can't get a decent pass away. Now this is Kurri back on the point. Jutila over on the right side. Back to Jutila again, getting set. He simply feeds Ruutsalainen down to the side of the goal. The relay and a deflection by Kurri, and then Vänbisbruck had to be quick on that.
Boy, they like to use that umbrella play. 3 guys high. Ruutsalainen was one of them. You can see 2 there to the right of your screen. This is a long missed pass, but you'll see now a tic-tac-toe. There's to one guy. Now to another Finnish player at the top. There's one right at the bottom right of your screen. There were actually 4 that were high in the zone. Now it goes into Kurri, and you can see them all slowly converging. They don't like to blast through traffic. They'll work it around and then converge at the right time. And obviously, timing is the key to the Finnish power play.
Kurri tried to pop that on the short side, and Vänbisbruck, certainly equal to the occasion, made the stop in fine fashion. 40 seconds left now, and the United States penalty for tripping to Joel Otto. And Finland certainly more impressive than they have been all night during the last 30 seconds of this power play, as they sustain pressure now in the United States, with Christian Ruutu feeding it rink wide over on the far side for Virta, down beside the net again. Ruutu digs it back on the point here, the left side. Sirit shoots it hard to the corner. Hutcher for the United States fails to break it up. The Finns still in control. 13 seconds left in the USA penalty. Best looking power play, but not many shots on goal by Finland. And they simply, after all that, feed it all the way back out over the blue line with not a single shot taking place.
Well, it's typically European, too. They want to work it around for that quality chance and not blast away. And that we'll see that with the Soviets. We'll see that with the Czechoslovakian team and the Swedish team.
Otto now back on the ice. Team USA is back to full strength. as the right wing pass comes across for Brook. Brook shoots it, rattles it around the boards. In fact, it gets caught up over the boards in the crowd, and there'll be a stoppage of play with 16 minutes and 47 seconds left here in a scoreless second period of the first Canada Cup game in Hartford. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Check and Bobby Carpenter for the United States to play inside the Finnish blue line. Blomqvist getting some pressure as the U.S. forechecks in an effort to keep the puck inside the zone. They fail to do so. It is swept out to center ice. Loose puck of the left wing for Gronstad. His centering pass and a weak shot by Eero Järvi is turned away. Perhaps the pace now would be picking up a little bit. Indications are just that as they go end to end. Stumbling over the line was Olczyk in contact with a Finnish defender, and he couldn't complete the play. For the Finns now, sweeping into the left side is Suominen. They keep it in at the point. Gronstrand down behind the net. Vanbisbruck with it, up on the boards and all the way back the length of the ice. Stopped there by Kerry Taco, not nearly as busy in this period as he was in the first when he blocked 11 shots. But the second period is just over 4 minutes old. This game does remain scoreless. Matty Heikman tried to set up the ever dangerous Jari Kurri with a blast that went wide. Bill Housley inside the line. Finland promptly shoots it out again. Disorganized attacks on the part of both teams. Certainly thinking more defense than offense. Housley for Team USA. They send Presley away at center ice. He drops the trailing pass. Pouncing on it is Pat LaFontaine. Trying to get it back on the point for Housley. The slap shot rebound is too generous. It hopped past the stick of Wayne Presley. Here's a chance in front for Team USA. Housley can't get the drive away, and Finland comes back with it. There will be a penalty call, though, in the goal crease. The interference against Team USA down there, and right in front of Kerry Taco.
That's Billy Siren of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He was back there, right? He was back there with Wayne Presley as the play was breaking out. It was a good 100 feet from the goal. Here's Housley's blast. I think Presley gets a piece of it. Oh, yeah, he does. Right on the Taco and into the side. Watch the right of your screen. There's Presley. There goes Siren after him. Stick with them. That's what it is, holding. You can see Presley trying to get away from him. He's still trying to hop away. Billy Siren was holding, so he will sit for holding, and we'll see if Bob Johnson's power play can get one here.
Again, all too close to the view of referee Don Kowalski. So a chance for the United States on the power play, and they initiate it by keeping it inside the line. Mark Johnson plays it down the boards for Presley. Back to Johnson again. He's got Chelios over on the right point. His blast is blocked. Taco lost the puck for a moment, still loose in front. They poke away at it and can't get it in. Olczyk with a great scoring chance there, and Finland now breaks back to center ice. Playing a man short. Good bump there by Chelios taking down the Finnish winger, and the United States smartly brings it back, but it's called offside over 2 lines at the center red line. So that'll take the zip out of the U.S. power play for now.
Right, what a great defensive play by Chris Chelios. I thought that Skriko had him in the neutral zone. Here's a scoring chance at the other end. This is Chelios' shot. Eddie Olczyk is in front trying to deflect. I think it might be Presley in behind him, but you can see Taco loses it to his right, and now he's worried because all that's to his right is open space. You can see Pat LaFontaine closing in at the top of your screen. Here's the hit by Chelios. I thought Skriko had him, but Chelios came back and gave it a one-time and knocked Skriko completely off the puck. Good defensive play.
And at one time was well timed. Still a minute 15 left in the penalty to Siren of Finland. Blomqvist trying to clear and is successful, getting at the length of the ice. At the 6-minute mark now, the second period still scoreless, but the United States still with plenty of time to work on the power play. They swing it away to the Finnish blue line. Here is the rink-wide pass, bouncing for Joel Otto in the corner, feeding it in behind the net, right out in front for Carpenter. Couldn't get the shot away. Housley now. It comes over to the stick of Joey Mullen. Carpenter waiting on the right side, takes the pass off the boards. 33 seconds left in the power play. So the Americans still have plenty of time to work something here. Otto behind the net. He can't swing it in front. Now it is Joey Mullen with it. Feeds it on the left point, almost over the line, but kept in. Now Housley right over on the face-off circle on the left side. Not many shots for the Americans here. Here's one that goes wide by Gary Suter, but picked up and shot back over the blue line out of harm's way with 8 seconds left now on the power play.
That's some pretty good penalty killing by the Finnish team. They're not afraid to press aggressively and the top of their box out near the blue line. You notice how many times Team USA had the puck. Housley had it. Never had a chance to do anything with it because they're pressing. But what that means is if Team USA can slip a pass in deep, you know that the USA team is going to outnumber the Finns because very often they have 3 penalty killers high in the zone. They're playing very aggressively.
So whereas when Finland had the power play, it looked like they did not choose to shoot, the United States was unable to get a good shot away because of how they were aligned defensively.
And Team USA is obviously aware that European teams don't like to take a wasteful shot. They are going to move it around. So what they will do is play a little tighter box and wait, play a waiting game, and then force a turnover without being quite as aggressive.
The Hagman line with Tikkanen and Curry has seen a lot of ice time, and they're out there once again for Finland. Siren out of the penalty box. The power play is over. Starts it for Finland now. Tikkanen works it to the right boards. Lengway bumps him. He leaves it there. Hagman tries to work it in front. Can't do so. Here is Curry. Curry floats it in front. Still inside the Team USA zone. The Finns now applying some pressure of their own. Matty Hagman behind the net. Tipped up the boards and back over the center red line. This is Siren. Getting it ahead to Tikkanen. His shot goes way wide. Rattles off the boards in the right corner. Curry battles forward, wins it. Held on the point. Over on the right side again. Here is the shot going a mile wide. And for Team USA, this is Chris Nyland bringing it out. Takes it in across the line. It is a good play onside, but nobody there to follow up. And the Finns come back with it. This is Ruutu. Steps inside the blue line and promptly has to go back out again. Utila. He's being pressured there by Kurt Fraser. Again, the play gets ragged in the center ice area both ways. For the Finns, a quick shot now by Skriko. That was handled by Vanapisbruck and returned back over the center red line by the United States. Nakala for Finland works it inside. Trailing is Ruutu in the corner. His centering pass is blocked. Still loose in behind the goal. They battle for it there just to the right of Vanapisbruck. And Team USA brings it away with Kelly Miller across the blue line. 2 Americans trailing. LaFontaine trying to get in front of the net. Also circling is Wayne Presley, but they can't get a direct pass out in front. And it's contained on the right boards by Finland. And they bring it out. Ruutu coming away at center ice. Again, shooting it in high on the backboards all the way over to the near side. And back to center ice it comes. Break for the United States now. LaFontaine closing in there with Presley. That shot goes wide. Bumping in the corner is Siren trying to get possession. Now Grandstand, a loose shot, they score. The United States has taken the lead and drawn first blood here in Game 1 of the Canada Cup.
Pat LaFontaine is about the last guy you'd want to leave all alone in front of Kari Taco. And Jari Gronstad is handcuffed here. See that pass? What a dangerous pass. It went from the boards right to the middle of the ice. And it was number 10, Aaron Broughton, that actually moved in and forced the turnover. Look at this pass right to the slot area. Gronstrand's handcuffed. Aaron Broughton makes a good defensive play by pinching in. Pat LaFontaine wheels. You can't even see Taco in that shot. He's so far out trying to cut down the angle. LaFontaine still got it by him.
And a falling LaFontaine puts it in. Gives Team USA a 1-0 lead. So just before the midway mark of the second period, the midway mark of this game, Team USA takes a 1-0 lead. LaFontaine, and Broughton does get the assist.
Well, I'm glad he did. I was going to say he's the unsung hero on the goal without an assist, but they're giving him one.
9:17 is the time of the goal. And so it is now the United States 1, Finland 0. From Hartford, this is the Labatt Canada Cup. Vanapisbruck in goal for the United States. His team now leading Finland 1-0 on the goal by Pat LaFontaine from Broughton at 9:17 of this, the second period. It took almost half the game to score, but when the Americans did, it was a beauty. And away they come again. The shot drifting down off the backboards of Finland. Coming up with it is Suominen behind his own goal. He'll try the left side instead with a pass to Gronstrand. And that is shot the length of the ice. Contained by Vanabeesbroek. Left over on the right side. The Finns getting a shot here from a bad angle, but it bounces right back out over the blue line. Blomqvist for Finland. Lost control. The Americans moving in on the goal now. Fed back on the point. Here is the blast from number 24, Chelios. Blocked in front.
Did you see the puck fly off those white pads? I think it came out faster than it went in.
It might have. It was like a rocket going there. A vapor trail behind it. Chelios, who had the big shot a moment ago, brings it up the ice for Team USA. Gets the finish line. Makes a fake and drifts a soft shot in on Taco. Now the Finns have a chance to bring it back out. They trail by a goal with 9 minutes to play in the second period. The pace quickening all the time. Finland now with a good scoring chance. Loose puck in front. Still available. Vanabeesbroek comes up with a rebound save.
He lost it originally, but he got to his feet quick enough that he could look by the traffic, and that's what allowed John Vanabeesbroek to recover. Looks like, well, I thought Don Kocharski was headed towards the penalty box. He is not. You know LaFontaine's
I'm not sure
goal.
he isn't.
Oh, he is.
Yep. High sticking. Chelios.
Here's Hagman's shot. That is, other than a Skriko shot in this game, the first center ice shot that the Finns have had. There is Hagman getting the rebound, and you can see Vanabeesbroek is standing up waiting for it. So important once that first shot is taken and the rebound is out. Now here's the one that comes flying off of Kari Tako's pads. Boom, there it goes.
You're right, it came out faster than it went in.
I have to check for a black mark on those pads. I wonder if he uses Armor All or something like that on. How does he keep them white?
I don't know. It's like cleaning a very fine upholstery in a car, only a car doesn't take that kind of punishment. So Chelios in the penalty box for high sticking at the termination of that activity around the USA goal.
You know, we can't take anything away from these teams in a defensive sense. Sure, it's a choppy hockey game, but the shot by Skriko earlier, that one by Hagman, and LaFontaine's goal are really the only three shots that have any quality from the middle part of the ice, and that tells you that defensively, both teams are forcing the shot to the sharp angles and to the outside. So it's a tribute to both teams defensively. Not that pretty to watch, but good defensively.
That's why it was so rare to see LaFontaine get the chance he did, and he made the most of it.
You had to figure, too, that the way they were playing defensively, that a goal would come on a turnover, and that's exactly what happened on
Miller
LaFontaine.
turns to the backhand, wheels and fires, and right there was Kari Taco. So the United States showing some bursts of quickness that was not so evident in the first period. Asa Tikkanen now for Finland with Hagman. Feeds it over to Ruotsalainen in the corner. You get the feeling here that you're televising an Edmonton Oilers game when that many players are on the ice. That's the way the Oilers looked last year. Curry, rink wide to the far point. As Finland now, as Bill said, European style, take their time in setting it up. They'll take all day if you'll let them. And they certainly have possession and control now. Here's the blast by Ruotsalainen, and finally a long drive turned away, and it comes all the way back to the Finnish blue line.
And you know, Jari Kurri on that blast was standing beside the net, but there is a disadvantage to not having anybody in front. You know Vanabeesbroek's vision would have been gone had Jari Kurri moved to the front when Ruotsalainen wound up. He chose not to.
Exactly. But the Finns do apply more pressure than we've seen of late here, with Uttila keeping it in. Feeds it over in the slot. No shot taken there. Back over to this near point now. Down to the face-off circle on the left side. Ruotsalainen again feeding it across. There is the blast blocked by Länguэй, but he fails to clear. Still inside the Team USA zone. Tikkanen now, right side, slap shot off the stick of Vanabeesbroek, who was down. He blocked it beautifully. I'm not sure if he saw it, but he blocked it.
Well, if you didn't see it, it wasn't because of a Finnish screen. I still haven't seen a Finn go to the net on any of the shots from the point.
Remains 1-0 Team USA with a stoppage of play here late in the second period. And from Hartford, this is the Labatt Canada Cup.
Commercial, but Mikko Makala, number 24 on this Finnish team, he also wears 24 for the New York Islanders, was really jawing, there he is, at one of his teammates. And the last thing that this Finnish team needs is a little bit of dissension so early in this tournament. Their coach, Rauno Korpi, has said that he was concerned coming in that some of the pros were hard to handle. It's not like handling the kids back home. 10 of these guys are in the NHL. They seem to have changed a little bit.
And 15 have NHL experience. So there's a mixture of the new pros in North America with some of the European amateurs on this team. And that blend may take a while to gel. Activity there right in front, though Tough play there, no penalty call.
Well, Kocharski pumped once, and the whole crowd saw him pump once and booed him, but he decided about halfway through his raising of his arm to call it off.
I'm not so sure he will ignore this one now, or is it just an offside? Now it looks like a penalty coming to the United States for tripping. They'll be shorthanded again. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Well, Team USA is going to be shorthanded, and here's the reason why, as the Finnish player was hooked by Phil Hauсли as he crossed the blue line.
If I'm not mistaken, Don, that was Christian Ruutu doing another one of his 9.6s coming down the right side this time. Last time it was Joel Otto that hooked him on the left side.
Yeah, Greg Louganis doesn't come up with dives like that on certain days. 6 minutes and 19 seconds to play in the second period. Team USA still leading by a goal. That by LaFontaine just before the midway mark of this period. And this Finnish team certainly has gone in spurts tonight. They have been impressive on occasions, but they do not sustain their intensity. Matty Hagman, the center from Helsinki now, leaving it in the face-off circle to the right of Vanabeesbroek. And that allows Brook to shoot it down the ice for the United States. Finland on the power play. Hauсли sitting out 2 minutes for hooking for the United States. Cross to the right side for Jutila. He can't penetrate the Team USA blue line. Finally, it is brought in by Tikkanen. Their top 5 out there now. That is the Hagman line with Tikkanen and Curry. Ruotsalainen and Jutila back on the point as they try to capitalize. Here's the shot going just wide. Curry couldn't get his stick on it. Coming up with it is Mike Ramsey for the United States, and slowly and deliberately he moves up and shoots it down the ice. 48 seconds left in the Phil Hauсли penalty for the Americans. Trying to contain the Finnish team at center ice and hold them there now, but they pop it inside the blue line, and equally as fast, Lэngуэй shoots it right back down. Johnson circling the forecheck. Now the Finnish player swings away from him. That is Makala. Finally over the blue line with it. Virta shoots it down beside the goal. Ruutu with it. Back on the point. Ruutu in the corner again, trying to center his pass. Met there by the veteran Lэngуэй and taken down hard. 6 seconds left now in the USA penalty. That's all they have to weather this storm. The Finns still with control, though. This is Virta getting set. Feeds the right boards. Hauсли trailing, comes out of the penalty box. Team USA at full strength. The shot is blocked, and Hauсли comes up with it for the Americans. He swings away at center ice. Over the blue line, fakes the shot, drags it through into the corner. And again, play is whistled down in the Finnish zone for a face-off to the left of Tato. The U.S. leads 1-0. 4 minutes to go in period 2. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Here's Steve Cooney in the intermission studio from Hartford. Hope you're enjoying the first game by Team USA in the Canada Cup of '87 tonight. For Finland, this is Eero Järvi. Hounded there, has to release the puck into the United States zone. The Americans seem to be much sharper now in getting out of their own area, except this time the forechecking is successful by the Finns, and they keep it in. Now it's on the stick of Bobby Carpenter, looking to come back and have a big season with his new team, the Los Angeles Kings, in the NHL season ahead. Raimo Suominen swings in and lets the blast go that Vanabeesbroek handles. This is Chelios. He's got that big blast, and that one drifts off target. A little over 3 minutes remaining now in the second period. From the left side, this is Grönstrand dumping it in. The Finns changing on the fly now. Miller at the center ice area dumps it down to the Finnish corner. Chasing it is LaFontaine, who scored the game's only goal. He is in there with Presley, but they fail to pick it up. Finland with it now. Here is the long, booming slap shot by Esa Tikkanen right on target. Mike Ramsey battles and wins it. Intercepted, though, by Tikkanen over on the boards. Another booming shot. Vanabeesbroek lost that rebound for a moment off a maze of players, but now it's back out of harm's way. Less than 2.5 minutes remaining in the second period. Team USA 1, Finland nothing here in Hartford. Here is Grönstrand. Siren in front. Over the stick of Perry for the United States. A 3-on-1 break coming in right in front. The shot, oh, and a great save off the stick of Presley. The rebound, all kinds of grief for Taco, and the Americans just come short of making it 2-0.
Boy, what a feed by Phil Housley. He sent Presley in, but Taco, we talked about his size when he came out. He was there to meet Presley head on.
And we're going to have play whistle down here with less than 2 minutes to go, and another penalty coming up to Team USA. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. For 2 minutes with an interference penalty for Team USA.
You got to know that it doesn't matter who you're playing. If you give them enough power play opportunities, sooner or later they're going to get something. The U.S. has taken 7 penalties. Finland has only taken 4. And, you know, this is one of the games that the USA thought, well, we'll at least get a break. Don Kocharski's a North American official. This is their last game in the round robin, their only game with a North American official. They're going to have 2 Czechs and then 2 Finns officiating their last 2 games.
He hasn't missed much, has he? Otto brings it away to center ice for Team USA, but it is offside at the Finnish blue line, and they will have to face off just outside that line with now 1:37 to play in this period.
And in spite of the fact that the Finnish power play hasn't really looked that sharp, remember, Ruotsalainen's on it, Jari Kurri, Esa Tikkanen, Matti Hagman, 2 current Edmonton Oilers and 2 ex-Edmonton Oilers since Ruotsalainen's going back to Switzerland. Matti Hagman finished his North American career with the Edmonton Oilers, also played for Boston and had a short stint with the Quebec Nordiques in the World Hockey Association. So they have some firepower. 7 power plays, that's a lot.
Sure is. And remarkable, they have not yet cashed in on a single one. Not yet, I say. They sustain the pressure now by blasting it down in behind the USA goal. Ruutu, and the shot drifts wide as he set up Jutila beautifully just out over the blue line with 1:15 left in the penalty, or in the period, and more than that left in the penalty, so the U.S. could go all the way out of the second period a man short. There's an offside. That'll give them a breather at the USA blue line with just 1:07 left in the second period now. The Finnish team lost its 2 pre-tournament games, 4-1 to Team Canada, the favorite in this event, and 6-1 to Czechoslovakia. But their overall record in the Canada Cup is 1 win, 8 losses, and a tie. In fact, they didn't even qualify in '84. West Germany came to the Canada Cup that year. So it's turnaround time, the Finns hope here, as they get ready for their appearance in Calgary in the Olympic Games.
And while Team USA was hurt with injuries, Team Finland was hurt by the fact that Kari Eloranta, who played with Calgary last year, and Risto Siltanen, who plays for the Quebec Nordiques, and both play for Swiss teams now, were not allowed to come and play for Team Finland by their Swiss teams. They said, no, you signed a contract with us. We're not going to let you go and play. So their defense was hurt too.
This is Ruotsalainen testing the left side for Team Finland. Still with the power play advantage as they forecheck in the American zone. Wind control. Ruotsalainen now gets it out to Tikkanen. Back over on the right side for Jutila. Jutila again on the point. Here's Ruotsalainen's shot. Failed and redirected was Kurri standing just beside the United States goal. Rolls down to Taco's doorstep. There's 24 seconds to play in the second period. But again, Finland with the power play advantage. They bring it inside the line and dump it through and change on the go. Tikkanen still out there, however. It is shot down the ice, and chasing it will be Hannu Virta with just 8 seconds to play. So it looks as though the United States has weathered this storm. One more chance? No, it is offside. Just offside. Mikko Makala there at the United States blue line.
I really think the Finnish team is going to have to start getting some inspired play from their captain. They've given it to number 17, Jari Kurri, and thus far in the game, I'm anything but impressed. That last rush, he just brought it down to the blue line, stopped, dumped it in, and stood there. And that's not the kind of play they need from a guy that's wearing the C. Jari Kurri, one of 3 players to score over 70 goals in the NHL when he scored 71, and he's looked like anything but a 70-goal scorer tonight. You have to be inspired to be a 70-goal scorer.
You're right, and certainly you wouldn't expect that on a power play of all times. So they drop the puck, and they will tick away the remaining seconds to end the second period here in Hartford. There'll still be 8 seconds left in the penalty to Kurt Fraser when the third period gets underway. But the U.S. breaks the ice here. LaFontaine from Broughton at 9:17, the only goal of the period, the only goal of this game. The USA leading Finland after 2 periods by a score of 1-0 tonight in Hartford, Connecticut. And this is the Labatt Canada Cup.
We're back at the Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut, where after 2 periods of play on this, the opening night of the 1987 Canada Cup hockey tournament, it's Team USA 1, Team Finland no score. Joining me now in our intermission studio is Bobby Carpenter of Team USA, also of the Los Angeles Kings of the National Hockey League. I guess you guys have got to be a little bit happier about the way things went in the second period, although with the number of chances you've been having, maybe you'd like to be up a little better than 1-0.
Oh, we haven't really played so good. I think we've made a lot of little mistakes. We've had a lot of chances, but they've been outside chances. We got to really get things going this third period.
We've been reading in the papers ever since training camp began that Bobby Carpenter looks like a new guy. He came to training camp looking like he was ready to play hockey, and they say that you may have been the biggest surprise that Team USA had at this year's camp.
Well, it was a good camp. I think that I didn't have that much of a layoff this summer playing in the World Championships. There wasn't that much time to really to do much, and it just started working out as soon as I finished, and it didn't hurt at all, I guess.
I guess in your situation, being the first American-born player ever to score 50 goals in a season, and then going through that, I don't know how to describe it except nightmarish season you had last year, I guess the only thing you can do at this stage is put it behind you and look ahead to 1987 and 88.
Yeah, well, things like that happen. I think that if things are going so well, times are bound to happen like that, and you just got to be able to face up to it and not quit and just put it behind you and get back to work. I think the secret to something like that is just trying to forget it and starting all over again.
You grew up in a hockey hotbed in Massachusetts, went to St. John's Prep, first high school player ever to make the jump directly. Here you are now going to a place that you wouldn't call a hockey hotbed. Los Angeles has struggled to make the sport grow and survive there. Do you see yourself as maybe fulfilling a role there, an American-born player that can bring some of the fan interest that they may have been missing?
I don't know what can bring fan interest there. I think it's a real difficult spot for hockey, but I think everybody in their career, any player that plays in the NHL would like to have a chance to play in LA, and I'm just lucky enough to have it now. I think it's a great place to play. It's got a really young team now. They really start to be on the move now, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
How do you feel about your own situation heading into the upcoming season?
Well, we'll just wait and see. I think that this tournament here is going to tell a lot. It's going to be a big tournament, and we just got to get going here, and we'll see what happens.
Bobby, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck to you, the Kings, and Team USA throughout the rest of this tournament. After 2 periods of play, the score, Team USA 1, Team Finland 0. We'll be back to the Hartford Civic Center in just a moment with a Team Finland player who's familiar to everyone around hockey circles, Jari Kurri. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Connecticut, where after 2 periods of play, Team USA on a goal by Pat LaFontaine leads Team Finland 1-0 on this, the opening night of the 1987 Canada Cup hockey tournament. Joining me now in our intermission studio, Jari Kurri of the Edmonton Oilers and of Team Finland. Jari, the first 2 periods, I don't think you would call it the most exciting offensive hockey anybody's ever seen, but nonetheless, both of these clubs have to be careful because these are the games you both have to win to get into that medal round.
Well, that's for sure. These games are very important for us and the Team USA, and both teams play a really disciplined hockey. We try to make play the home on end first and wait there. I get the chances. But I guess we have to get our power play going. We had a lot of chances, and so it's going to be interesting third period.
They were saying before this game began that if Team USA had an advantage, we talked to Rod Langway a bit about this, it was the physical size of the team might wear Team Finland down. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but that was something they looked at that they may be able to capitalize on.
I don't think that's going to work. We had a bunch of guys who've been playing NHL. They know what to expect. And we have to be cool and not take any stupid penalties when they hit or give a little shot. We have to be cool and take a hit and give it back when we get a chance.
This may not be the best Finnish team that's ever come to a Canada Cup. Then again, it may be, because it certainly is the most experienced, and that has to mean something when it gets down to cases and the games get tougher.
Well, I think so. We're looking for that. We have, like I say, a bunch of guys, 10 guys who play in NHL. That's a good thing. We play in 3 lines, and every line we have a couple or 3 guys who play in a small rink, and that makes it feel a lot easier. And our cool thing is Taco playing in Minnesota. He's doing a great job. He knows his little drills here.
Everybody knows about Jari Kurri in the NHL, 7 straight seasons with 100 points or more, first European player to score 60 goals or more, first right winger ever to score over 70 goals, playing on a line with maybe the greatest player in the history of the game, at least in Canada, Wayne Gretzky. In light of all that, and in light of the 2 Stanley Cups, what does a tournament like this mean to you? Is it important to you to still take part in something like the Canada Cup?
Well, I think that this is a real World Championship. You know, every team had their best players. You know, this is a challenge for as a player. You know, and see how you're gonna make it, how your country gonna make it. It's an honor to play in your country.
Good luck to you and Team Finland the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Jari Kurri of Team Finland and of the Edmonton Oilers of the National Hockey League. We'll be back to the Hartford Civic Center in just a moment with more from this, the opening night of Canada Cup 87. After 2 periods, it's Team USA 1 and Team Finland no score. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Hartford, Connecticut, where we are just moments away from the dropping of the puck to signify the beginning of period number 3 in this, the opening night of 1987 Canada Cup. Team USA leading Team Finland 1-0. Now let's go upstairs to Don Chevrier and Bill Clement for their analysis of the second period and the game today.
All right, thank you, Steve. And yes, there indeed is life after the first period here in Hartford. The United States showed that. The Finns showed it too in the power play on occasion, but certainly the most important event, naturally, was the goal by LaFontaine. And as we said earlier, it came from a situation whereby we hadn't seen men loose in front of the net. Very few chances from that angle, certainly odd angles, but never in front.
Well, both teams have been playing, as we mentioned, very strong defensively. So what you have to do is hope that with your pressure game, which the USA is trying to use against the Finns deep in their zone, that you're going to force a turnover. And that's what they did. It was more of a gift turnover than it was a forced turnover. They were scrambling along the boards, and it turned out to be Jari Gronstrand. We'll see him on the right of the screen here, end up receiving a pass. And you know what he's saying right now? Oh, no, not me. Why are you giving it to me? Aaron Broughton, key play by pinching in. And you can see LaFontaine. He knows how to sniff out a goal. He can sense it coming a mile away. So that was what the U.S. team needed to get on the board, was a break, because the Finns up until that point had been playing pretty strong defensively. They also had 7 power plays in this game so far. And they keep moving it around the outside of the box, which is tough for them to score on. Also another scoring chance that Team USA had, or at least here's a look at the power play. You can see the 5 Finns on the outside. The 4 USA players are playing a contained box. It comes around, and Team USA can bet that this is going to happen every time there's a power play. A one-time shot from Ruotsalainen at the point. Jari Kurri is standing on the left of the screen, right down by John Vanabeesbrook's right, to try and deflect it. And that seems to be their pat play, but they haven't had any success with it at all thus far.
Yeah, Kurri has really been loose a lot and simply hasn't capitalized. All right, what do we have now?
Well, this is an excellent play by Phil Housley, and a good play by 16, LaFontaine, in the middle of your screen, not going offside. He didn't see Housley coming behind him. Housley threads the needle. Watch Taco's left hand, the goalie's left glove hand, right here. And he forces Wayne Presley to his forehand. A lot of people watching this game don't realize that a move to your forehand is far more difficult move to execute than a move to your backhand. So what Taco did, take away the backhand move, force Presley to his forehand. He ended up paying the price. You could see there he ate a couple of skate blades in the face, but his mask worked pretty well. He survived that one.
And he kept it at 1-0. That very nearly made it a 2-0 game for Team USA. I got the feeling, Bill, that the Americans, after a very lackadaisical tentative first period, began to pick it up ever so slightly there in the second. Maybe they're finding their legs now.
I think that the energy level was decidedly in USA's favor in that period. Quite frankly, the Finnish team has looked lethargic 2 periods now, and I think it's time for Rauno Korpi to go and find the cattle prods. He's got to start prodding these guys. I don't know if the cattle prods made it with the equipment that was delayed in Toronto, but they're very lethargic. They have to start moving.
He may suspect that indeed the team is here, but their skates are still back in Toronto, because the equipment was late getting in. 1-0 USA then after 2 periods here. The third coming up shortly from Hartford, Connecticut. And this is the Labatt Canada Cup. Well, it was certainly a case of missed opportunities for Team Finland there in that second period because of the rash of Team USA penalties. The Finnish team outshot Team USA 11-8 in that period. Not many great scoring chances, but they certainly did have their opportunities after being outshot by the Americans 11-4 in the first period of play. Again, Pat LaFontaine from Broughton with the game's only goal near the midway mark of the second period. It's 1-0 for the team from the United States.
You know, it doesn't take long for teams to develop rituals. You can see Rod Lengway, top left. See number 5 on the top left of your screen? He will stay there probably till everybody has gone by. And I wonder what happens when players come with the same superstitions and same rituals. All of a sudden, they're thrown together. Somebody has to defer. Lengway wants to be the last guy. You saw him tip Vangbiesbroek's pads, tip the post. And here's the Finnish huddle. They're calling their play right now.
It's third down, third period certainly. And they hope they don't punt this one away to Team USA. Still with a few seconds to serve, 8 to be precise, is Kurt Fraser of the United States, penalized late in that second period. So for a few seconds anyway, as they have greetings back to Finland, this game is being broadcast back to that Scandinavian country. The Finnish team will have the power play in effect.
What's that say? Hi, Mom.
It says, hello, Finland, and I'll leave the rest to your imagination. That's what makes the Canada Cup so unique. Like the Olympics, you not only have the teams competing from around the world, but many of their spectators, too, so fervently follow their favorite athletes. All right, referee Don Kохарski has them underway for the third and final period. There is no overtime, by the way, in the Canada Cup. So the United States looking for insurance here for the 1-0 lead, and the Finns eagerly trying to tie it up. Tikkanen brings it in to Curry, drops the pass for him. Hagman now has it. He tries to play it behind the goal for Curry, sends it too far. And Kevin Hatcher for the Americans gets it out to center ice. Back on the ice is Fraser. He has partial control and a lock from Curry as they slide across the blue line offside.
There's Jari Curry. What a career he's had. 7 straight seasons with over 100 points. And you can say what you want about playing with Wayne Gretzky. Naturally, it's tougher to get 100 points when you're not on the great one's right side. But certainly, I would think it's safe to say Jari Curry has helped Wayne Gretzky achieve some of his greatness as well. He's a classy hockey player, and I think Wayne Gretzky motivates Jari Curry quite a bit to play as well. I don't think he would be nearly as effective playing with anyone else.
Well, if I were Mr. Curry, I would have a Gretzky clause in my contract that he's got to stay at center ice for me throughout my career. It makes quite a difference. Finland trailing by a goal now. They work it out the left side. 2-on-2. LaFontaine coming back to check on the play. Again, good work by Kevin Hatcher, the Washington Caps defenseman, riding off the Finnish player. Vangbiesbroek, short side, made a good skate save. And that sends the Americans away at center ice 3-on-2. Here is Miller crossing the line, but offside was an over-eager Pat LaFontaine. Here's a good look at young Mr. Kelly Miller, left winger from the Caps.
You know, rebounds are what make goalies lie awake at night and wonder what went wrong. And Vangbiesbroek will leave one here, but watch how he clears it with his own stick right here. Christian Ruutu was within inches of slapping that right back at Vangbiesbroek, and he just reached out and helped himself. Have to be so quick.
He saw Lengway pause for a split second, decided, I better take care of this myself, and he did. We're in the second minute of the third period with Team USA leading Finland 1-0 here in the opening game of the Canada Cup in Hartford. Eero Järvi for Finland now. Shoots it into the USA zone and goes in after it. Johnson slaps it around the boards. U.S. looking for a quick break here now. Housley across to Johnson. Johnson drops it back. Here's Housley getting turned around. He can't get the shot away. Dumps it in front. It is loose. And oh, a great scoring chance tonight right there. Right out in front was Mike Ramsey, all set up. He couldn't put it away.
You know, at one point, Kari Taco had 3 helpers in front of him. 3 guys wearing his Finnish colors. They all disappeared. Watch Housley just jam it in front. You can't, look at all the Finns. They're just peeling away. And I think that's Joey Mullen. We haven't seen much of Joey Mullen tonight. 47 goals last year. But Mullen was left all alone. All of the Finns just peeled to the side.
And it is still a 1-goal lead. Bob Brook centering Fraser. And Chris Nyland now. Gary Suter trailing in the slot. And here come the Finns. Chelios picks it up, and that will be icing. The puck shot from the Finnish side of center ice.
Boy, it was a desperate play, too. That's hardly an encouraging sign for the Finnish team. Obviously, for Team USA, it is one. Matty Hagman had that, and he knew it was icing, but it was a real long shot. He looked over and saw Jari Kurri on the right boards and gambled that he could beat 3 defenders to the puck. He didn't have a chance.
Not at all.
And the play comes all the way back down now to the right side of Taco. And I don't think that any of the Europeans against Team USA or Team Canada want to leave themselves with an overabundance of face-offs in their own end, because if there's one area where the European teams haven't caught up yet to North American hockey, it's on face-offs.
And Brook very good on the draw on many of those face-offs for Team USA. Working with Petri Striko, and again wins the draw, gets it back at the point, lazy little shot, still loose in front, and a diving Taco covers up for Finland. 2 minutes into the third period with Team USA still leading Finland 1-0. From Hartford, this is the Labatt Canada Cup. Finnish defender just to the left of his net. And Blomqvist works it up the left side. Again, close coverage by Gary Suter in behind the net. The Finns unable to get it loose. Now digging forward is Striko. He's being shadowed very closely over in the boards. Kicks it back to the point, and the slap shot by Utila is handled by Vanabeesbrook. Chris Nyland for the United States just cleared. There was a danger bell, I suppose, of the Americans settling too much into a defensive shell, as Brook almost won it there, trying to nurse that lead a little too tenderly.
Oh, 1 goal is hardly enough to nurse. They have to take the attack, continue to play in the Finnish zone.
And the Finns not yet coming with the intensity you might expect from a team just a goal down with a chance to come back in this game. Off the boards it goes. The icing call is waved off. The goalie Taco meets it and sends it directly back to center ice. The Finns now breaking in. Here is a shot from Suominen from the left side, handled by Vanabeesbrook. Olczyk fed it ahead. Loose puck in the Finnish zone. Blomqvist around behind his goal, intercepted there, and loose on the left side for Längway, winding up with a shot a mile wide. Olczyk now tries to lift the Finnish defender's stick, can't get it up, and the puck comes back to center. Längway with Järvi battling for it. Comes to Olczyk, young man who made his debut in the Olympic Games in '84 as a teenager, now with the Chicago Blackhawks, the National Hockey League. Eero Järvi for Finland. Into the U.S. zone it goes. Left there for Kevin Hatcher. For Presley. Keeps the pressure up. And they get it out to center ice. For Helmanen. Cross to Kurri. His long relay drifts harmlessly down to Vanabeesbrook. And that quick break for either team that we suspected might come as we thought they'd open things up in this period has not materialized yet as we near the 5-minute mark of the third and final period. Kelly Miller for the United States leaves it in the Finnish zone. Ruotsalainen sending Hagman away. Over to Jari Kurri. Back for Hagman, picked off by LaFontaine. Pass took a little too long arriving on the right side, and the Finns have it in their own zone now with about 4.5 minutes gone in the third period. Chance for Hagman left side, going in 1-on-2. Turning his Tikkanen with a shot, and that is turned away. Gets way out near the U.S. line, now back to center. In they come. Hauсли left side, he fans, still has it, gets it back. Here is the shot, right on rebound, they score. The United States takes a 2-0 lead. The shot was engineered by Gary Suter and then tipped in right on the edge of the crease.
Right where he's supposed to be, Pat LaFontaine. And I wonder if Phil Housley will look back at this and say, boy, am I ever glad I fanned. Here comes LaFontaine right up center ice. There's Housley on the right of your screen. He'll get it from LaFontaine. Now watch him fan. He tries a shovel pass. Whoop, didn't make it. Well, it's sure going to turn out. He feeds Gary Suter, who simply directs it to the net. Taco gets the first one, but he has no help there for the rebound. Wonder what number 7 is doing. Jatala, you can see him there on the lower right of your screen for Finland. He just let LaFontaine go right by him.
So young Pat LaFontaine getting that rebound and scooping it in for the second goal has scored both Team USA goals tonight. They lead Finland by a score of 2-0. And now the heat is really on this Finnish team. But they rally inside the United States zone. The centering pass, the shot deflected wide from the stick of Christian Ruutu. They headman it out to number 10 for the United States, Aaron Brock. And they whistle it down as play sweeps right in on the Finnish zone. And from Hartford with a 2-0 Team USA lead, this is the Labatt Canada Cup. And Suter, who started the play.
You've got to know that the New York Islanders fans and their manager, Bill Torrey, their general manager, well, there's another chance. You've got to know they're happy watching Pat LaFontaine pick up where he left off last season. He really finished so strongly and was so valuable for them in the playoffs. The other best player was Mikko Makala. So between them, they kind of carried the Islanders offensively. Here's another look at the goal.
Watch number 16. You come back in your picture. He'll be stationed just to the left of the crease. Thank you very much. 2-0.
He banked that in off Taco's back, too, didn't he? He just jammed it up. One bank in the corner.
Lэngуэй just failed to hold it in. Lэngуэй, of course, of the old school, that is no helmet. Very easy to spot out here on the ice. The only member of either team going bareheaded. And it was close, but they say they saw some white showing, although I don't see it right there.
No, tough angle to spot it from anyway.
Approaching the 6-minute point now, the third period. 2-0 for Team USA. Järvi starting the play on the left side, sending Suominen away. Bodied out of the play by the United States defense. Now Lэngуэй for Fraser. Works it ahead for Nyland. And Nyland was stopped for a moment and continues on by dropping it beside the Finnish goal. Right in front, Nyland missed the relay just by a fraction. So the U.S. gaining confidence now. But the Finns make a bad play right there. U.S. almost had a chance to get a break on that one. It is fed offside, says linesman John ДАмико right there at the Team USA blue line. So now we have 13:32 to play in the third period. The Finns looking a little bedraggled right now.
Well, one of the things that Team USA does very well is team defense. Bob Johnson pointed that out, and you can look at their lineup. Guys like Fraser, Kelly Miller, Bobby Carpenter can play some strong defense. So can that guy, Mike Ramsey of the Buffalo Sabres. So 2 goals should be enough to carry them to victory in what has to be the biggest game of the tournament for them. As Rod Längway pointed out when he was talking to Steve Cooney between periods, if they can win tonight and Monday night against Sweden, they should be a shoe-in for the final round, make that Final Four. So this is huge. They're right where they want to be right now.
And they indeed in '84 did make the Final Four, losing out of the semifinals, sending Canada and the Soviets on to meet in their dramatic showdown, won by Team Canada. The Finns will be in desperate shape unless they can win this one tonight, as the play is whistled down offside on the high deflection at the blue line of Finland. 13-13. Will it be lucky or unlucky? That's the time remaining in this third and final period. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Certainly the outstanding player of this game and the most productive man for Team USA takes the face-off. Pat LaFontaine. He has scored both the USA goals in his 2-0 lead over Finland tonight on the opening round of the Canada Cup. LaFontaine tries to feed a pass behind to Gary Suter, who didn't see it in time. And the Finns try to break over the left side. That is broken up by Wayne Presley. Presley with LaFontaine and Kelly Miller out there in the attacking unit for the United States. And this is Presley with it now. At the finish line, lost control. It slides down to the corner. Ruotsalainen feeds it out for the Finns. This is Hagelin behind Ruotsalainen. The Finns making some very bad passes now, but here's a 2-on-1 for the United States. Closing in, the pass right in front, and it's 3-0. Thanks to Wayne Presley, set up beautifully right in front of the goal.
Oh, look what I got from Gary Suter, who was very smartly up on the play. But Don, you hit it right on the head. That was a terrible pass that Matty Hagman made for his teammate streaking down the wing. Here comes Gary Suter. Watch this dipsy-doodle move. Looking around, goes around the sprawling Utila,
Christmas morning. There it is.
How do you miss that one? What a great effort by Gary Suter.
He has set up 2 USA goals now, and this one was picture perfect with Taco helpless, drifting way off to the left side.
Well, that's all 3 goals for the LaFontaine line as well. Wayne Presley's on Pat's right side, so it's 2 for LaFontaine and 1 for Wayne Presley of the Chicago Blackhawks. The Blackhawks have more players on this USA team than any NHL team. They have 4 guys here. Presley's one of them with a gimme goal by Gary Suter's setup.
Yeah, Presley from Suter at 7:31 makes it 3-0 for Team USA. And the Finns, to make it even worse, adding insult to injury, take a penalty, as Jari Kurri will be in the cooler for 2 minutes as the USA goals stand. It was the Americans who spent much of period 2 in the penalty box, but now the Finns have dug themselves into a very deep hole, trailing by 3 and a man short for the next couple of minutes here. Joel Otto feeding into the right corner. Goes in to help out. Nobody in front of the net for the United States except way back on the point. Bobby Carpenter now with it. He's trying to feed Joey Mullen. U.S. with the pressure of the power play in Finland. For Hauсли. Here's a chance. Suter closing in with a drive. Rebound still loose. They bang away and sliding across the crease without a stick. The save was made by Christian Ruto.
He made a tremendous save, but he left his stick behind, and he had to drag down Bobby Carpenter. Well, had to. He chose to, and he is going off, and now Team USA is going to be 2 men up. And you know what the key here? Suter moves, but look, watch how many times Team USA is allowed by the Finns to bang away at it here in front. 1, 2, 3.
And then the timely move by Ruto, who kicked it out and fell on the puck and covered it up. Soccer style.
Bobby Carpenter is taking his time. He knows that Ruto doesn't have a stick. Well, that's a good takedown and a pin. And 2 points for Christian Ruto in 2 minutes. You know what's uncharacteristic, Don, about Jari Kurri being in there? His penalty was for roughing. And it was after the fact and a little late. I mean, if you want some inspiration from your captain in taking a roughing penalty, you might as well do it at the start of the game, not when you're down 2-0. Now Rutu's in there beside him. It'd be a great chance to really put it away. I think it's pretty well gone for the Finns anyway, but chance to sweeten that power play total.
Yeah, they call it holding, but more aptly described as tackling, worth 2 minutes there. So the United States now with an enormous advantage with 5 attackers to 3, and they can take their time and set this up as they will. Chelios takes that big shot of his. Suter is waiting on the left point. He takes the pass from him back to Chelios. Back to Suter, closing in beside the net. Here's the setup. They bang away, and Joey Mullen just failed to poke that one home. The Finns in a deep hole, trailing by 3, and they are 2 men short-handed now. And the United States power play as the American team has finally come to life here in the 3rd period after showing the first sight of it in the 2nd. Suter setting up 2 goals tonight. Feeds Chelios, fakes the shot, feeds left side directly in front, rebound. Finns come up with it, but they fail to clear. This is Timo Blomqvist, who plays for the New Jersey Devils of the National Hockey League. Faded to Chelios, big shot. Mullen bangs, and the rebound slides wide. Suter now from the left side to big Chelios. Back to Suter. The Finns are befuddled in front of the goal. The rebound, tackle down, and makes a fine save. Line flaps his back, then gives a slash out in frustration as the play is whistled dead.
He said, if I'm not going to get any help from anybody else, I might as well strike myself. And he slashed Joel Otto. And you know when you're down 2 men, you're going to have to call on your goalie for some saves. And that's exactly what the Finns are forced to do here. And Taco is coming up time and time again with them. Here's Suter's big shot. Look at the crowd. It's a 2-man crowd. There was another Finn high. There's Otto with the poke. Just after that.
Response, but it was considerable. 13 seconds left in Curry's penalty. In the 2nd Finnish penalty to Christian Ruto, there still remains 1 minute. So the United States pressure can continue here. There's young Mr. Olczek, who at 18 played for the United States Olympic team in Sarajevo. Along with Pat LaFontaine, who shoots now and just about put a 4th goal in, his 3rd of the night. Brilliant blast by LaFontaine, who has it again. Sets it up in front. Here's Presley getting turned around, can't get the shot away. LaFontaine on the near boards. Back to Presley now. The first penalty has expired. Finland now with a fifth man on the ice, and it is Curry in possession. Still 27 seconds to go in the second penalty, though, to Ruutu. So a glorious chance for the United States ticking away here to add to their 3-0 lead. As they bring it to, but not inside, Finland's blue line. Here come the Finns. There is the shot by Skriko. Was handled by Vanavisbruck. A change at the bench. Länguэй hops onto the ice, takes the puck, and shoots it just wide. Second penalty has expired. Now Finland's back to full strength with a big collision there on the boards, engineered by Timo Jutila. The shot from the point, the rebound, the flip just hit the short side goal post with the stick of Ed Olczyk. And here come the Finns, 3-on-2. Here's the centering pass and a great save by John Vanavisbruck. Closing in was Skriko, had him dead to rights, and Vanavisbruck came up with it. Back come the Americans now. Nyland shooting wide. Here's the rebound. The blast was missed by Kurt Fraser, and the Finns break out once more. 3-4-on-2. Here's the trailing pass at the blue line for Gronstad. He keeps it alive for Finland. Intercepted by Kevin Hatcher. Now LaFontaine into the finished corner. 8:45 to play in the third period. Team USA leads 3-0 over Finland here in Game 1 of the Canada Cup Series. Järvi plays it in. Järvi goes in after it against two American defenders. This is Brook trying to bring it away. He loses out. Finns flip it high over the glass, and there's finally a stoppage in play with 8:22 remaining in the third and final period. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. And will take a key face-off for Finland in the United States zone. Indeed, a rare face-off down there for the Finnish team. They trail 3-0. Tries to dig it back to Ruotsalainen and is unsuccessful in doing so. Up the boards it goes and is deflected down the ice by Team USA. Sirid for Ruotsalainen. Hitting the center red line. Swings across the USA blue. Gets tied up in there. Goes down on the play, and Chelios comes up with it. Hagman battling with Chelios now. Over to the near side for Team USA. And popped ahead by Aaron Broughton to Mark Johnson. Johnson with the trailer and the blast by Joey Mullen. Trailing on the play, just going wide from the left point right on. Taco makes that stop. U.S. so many times has been close to a fourth goal the last 2 or 3 minutes, just missing out on it. Siren now gets turned around. Long left wing pass for Bobby Carpenter. Closing in. Puck rolls off his stick into the corner. He hops after it there. But here's Ville Siren to defend for Finland and get it back to center. Phil Hausley now. He's been getting stronger as this game has progressed tonight. Carpenter working in the corner against Virta. Held in, left side, long shot by Mike Ramsey, and that is handled by the glove of an alert Kerry Taco. But time is running out on the Finns. Less than 7 minutes left now, and Bobby Carpenter, or not too far, and Ray's not too far from here, played his high school hockey in Massachusetts. The first U.S. player to score 50 goals in an NHL season. He's still only 24 years of age.
He's looked impressive tonight, too. I think he's found a lot of the game that he left behind at some juncture last year.
He left it on Amtrak, I think, somewhere between Washington and New York. Now, maybe that he's in the air. He'll take it out to L.A. and fly. So there was a break of the play here with the United States leading Finland 3-0 very late in period 3. And this is the Labatt Canada Cup.
Korpi, the Finnish coach, and don't let his looks fool you. He looks like a high school coach, an easygoing guy, but he's a real decisive little battler. Last year's World Tournament, his assistant coach disagreed with one of his policies and ended up quitting the team. Neither would budge. Korpi prevailed. Korpi's still here, and his assistant now is coaching, I don't know, Japan, Switzerland, someplace else.
Well, here for the United States is LaFontaine getting turned away, comes back, battles back with a pass to Miller. Feeds it on the point. Hetcher down the boards for Miller. Skating in behind the Finnish goal, looking to pop it in front if he can. He gets turned off the puck by Christian Ruutu, and the Finns come back 3-on-2. Ruutu on the right wing drops the trailing pass, loose in front, Längway up with it and clears it back to center ice. A little over 6 minutes remaining in the third period. The U.S. 3, Finland nothing. More Canada Cup action to come for you in the days and weeks ahead, including the U.S. and the Soviets next Friday night right here in this Hartford Civic Center. We've got a mix-up here now. An American player down. Pushing at him was Skriko with the U.S. player on his back, but they get separated easily. It was Kevin Hatcher who was up and all right. 3-0 for the United States in Hartford, and this is the Labatt Canada Cup. For tonight resembled the Hartford Public Library, certainly in the first period. Very quiet crowd, and then as the U.S. began to accelerate and the goals started to come, they have responded to the occasion. And for the United States, it is a happy occasion tonight. Houсли is in the penalty box there with the first U.S. penalty of the period for slashing. So the Finns now with a chance to execute the power play, something they have missed out on time and time again, certainly in the second period with 7 American penalties called. Jari Kurri over on his wrong wing now gets straightened away and awaits the pass back, which never comes. Hagman for Tikkanen, back on the point for Utila, and he takes his time before winding for the blast that sails wide, and Chelios tries to gulp it down the ice. He can't get it away, so he carries over to the near side and up the boards for Bobby Carpenter. Carpenter being hounded by Tikkanen. And he just lobs it down the ice. A little over 5 minutes to play now in the third and final period of this game in Hartford to launch the Canada Cup. And a successful launch for the U.S. The ever-dangerous Kurri leaving it for Utila. Utila loses to Längway, and Packett comes down the ice. With 3 goals now, the United States, as opposed to 1 earlier, can't afford to play a defensive game and just keep turning the Finns away. They should have enough scoring to win this one. Only 2 pre-tournament goals scored by Finland against Canada and Czechoslovakia, and they have been shut out tonight, so their scoring machine needs oil desperately. 4.5 minutes remaining now. Hannu Virta crosses the line, drops it at the point. Here's the pass across to the right face-off circle, and no chance to make a play there for Christian Ruutu. The Americans right in on goal, pushed in by the hand of Bobby Carpenter. And is it going to count or not? Did it cross the line? There'll be a meeting with the linesman and the referee.
I'm not sure.
I think it's good.
I wish Don Kocharski would show us some emotion. We might be able to read it. I can't tell what he's going to call. I think he might be calling at least a penalty, but it was an excellent individual effort, one way or the other, by Joel Otto.
No goal.
No goal.
He hoops one Finn at the blue line. Look at this move.
No goal. It was intentionally put in with a hand, and a penalty goes to Finland for holding. Siren.
There's the holding penalty.
So it was literally thrown in, although it appeared to cross the line before he did that.
Sure it did.
That should be a good goal, but Kocharski says no. Let's have one more look at this now. There'd be a Finnish penalty for holding after the goal, but here is Carpenter.
There was the long reach. Otto is in, and instead of scooping at the puck, he just moves Bull's taco like a bowling pin right out of the way. Now, if Joel Otto points at it instead of swipes at it, oh, that thing's 8 inches over the line before he hits it.
It was already in. So Otto protesting to no avail with the referee Kocharski, who did not have the benefit of the replays that we have seen, and says that is enough. He sends them away. What the U.S. does get out of it, being denied a 4th goal, is a penalty for holding to Finland. And the Finns are going to argue that aspect of the decision by the officials. Here it is again. He's made the play. The puck is loose. Taco going the other way. Now watch as daylight opens up where the puck is before he swipes at it. It is already in the net.
Point at it, Joel. Don't hit it.
He should have left it, really, and let it slide all by itself.
Sure.
But his gesture there, I think, alerted Kocharski to the fact that it was illegally put in the net, which it was not. It remains 3-0 with 4:13 to play. With the United States about to start a power play. In the penalty box for the Finns is Jukka Seppo. will make that Siren in the penalty box. The United States just has seconds to tick away on the Presley sentence, and then they will have the power play advantage. They do now as Presley steps on the ice until they can gear it up. The LaFontaine line, successful tonight in an enormous way, brings it up for the United States. Suter starts it off as he has a couple of goals tonight for LaFontaine. Presley makes a good check in there, wins possession. Nobody out in front except on the point for Chelios on the right side. Now Suter, back for Presley. Cruising in front is Olczyk. The shot from the point rips over top of the Finnish goal, but held in by the United States by Chris Chelios. Presley tried to pop it in front, was turned away by the Finnish defender. And through the stick it goes of the American defenseman Gary Suter, who has to reload at center ice for the right wing pass. Inside the line comes Olczyk with it. Cruising is Presley. Can't get his stick on it. Gets turned the other way. And Finland clears it down the ice. A little over 3 minutes to go in the game. Less than a minute to go in the Finnish penalty. A scoreless first period, a goal of the second, two more here in the third period have given the United States a 3-0 lead. And a moment ago, as you saw, it could well have been 4. This is Mike Ramsey feeding in the right face-off circle. That blast was turned away. They'll feed Ramsey again now on the point. Keeps it in play. A pass for Otto, and they relayed it all the way back down the ice. The Finnish team with 2.5 minutes to go. But it looks like the job has been done tonight, Bill Clement, by the United States team.
I think it has. They were patient. They played a very strong defensive game, and the first break that they got was really the LaFontaine goal, and they just continued to pressure and slowly but surely taking it away from a Finnish team that is...
There's a score! Blast by Joey Mullen makes it 4-0 for the United States.
Boy, didn't I say earlier in this period that we hadn't seen much of Joey Mullen?
Yep.
47 goals last year for the Calgary Flames. And Harry Taco on this particular goal gives him too much room on the short side. It'll be back to the point and then back into Mullen, who does a spin around. Well, that's a tough call, too. I said Taco gave him too much room on the short side. You could see a screen moving in front of him. Watch the left of your screen and see if we can anticipate what Kerry Taco is seeing. Well, he is seeing nothing but a blur of blue and white in front of him. He never flinched. Mullen just picked the short side.
Yeah, that was Bobby Carpenter in front, providing a very effective screen for the United States along with the Finnish defenseman. 4-0 now, less than 2 minutes to play. Team USA very much in command here in Hartford tonight on the opening night of the Canada Cup. After a slow start. Back they come again. Puck is left there by Fraser. And now the Finns move it up to center. Drop pass, shot by Ruutu. And Vanbisbruck covers up on that. The goal, Mullen from Ramsey at 17:49 has given the U.S. this 4-0 lead with just now a minute 35 to play.
You know, we've talked about the European teams being reluctant to shoot until they get a good chance. That was really a low percentage shot, and it handcuffed John Vanbisbruck. It went between his legs and then snuck out the right side. But that had as good a chance of going in as just about anything they've thrown at John Vanbisbruck. You have to wonder if the law of the percentages, the law of averages, don't say the more you shoot, naturally, the more chances you have of scoring goals. The Finns have been really reluctant to shoot. Jari Kurri especially. I don't even know if he's had a shot on goal tonight. He's had some deflections on the power play. There you can see the shots.
I don't think so. He really has been beside the net. And there goes the shutout. There goes the shutout right there as Timo Jutila just lifts the little lob shot like a curveball that just sort of dropped in behind John Vanbisbruck, and it's 4-1.
I'm not sure that someone didn't deflect it in the slot, Don. There's a one face-off. You don't see that too often. Now Jutila will just wrist it. Did it change directions, or did it just come out of a screen? It handcuffed Vanbisbruck. You could see that he picked it up late, really didn't react. It wasn't a hard shot.
It was clean, but I think the screen was the factor there, and it's 4-1 now. The United States has lost the bid for the shutout. Again, a low percentage shot. You talked about them earlier. That's about all the Finns have had to work with, but this one happens to pay off for them with a minute and 10 seconds left in the game now. 4-1 for the United States, and they whistle it down in behind the United States goal. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Timo Jutila in the final 2 minutes of play here. And we are now down to the final 1 minute of play in this Canada Cup game. The victory nicely in hand for the United States. Brook takes it over the line, expecting his winger to be there on the left side, Kurt Fraser. He didn't get there in time. So a slow start blossomed into an acceptable performance in the second period and a much more polished performance by the United States here in the third bill.
I think patience has been one of the keys of the United States game tonight. They were patient enough to wait for the breaks, but in this game tonight we can also see some of the deficiencies. When they run up against the Canadians and against certainly the Soviets, they're going to need a little more firepower. They're not going to be able to be quite that patient because they're going to be under siege, under attack all night long. So, but you never know. Once the 4 teams make the final round, it's a single game for the semifinals, and then the 2 winners play the best of 3 games. So as long as they make the semifinals, then it's down to 1 game to make the final 3 games. So it's not really a long shot at this stage.
I remember one game, as we all do, in Lake Placid, New York in February of 1980. Here's a chance for Finland. It drifts wide of the U.S. goal. 18 seconds remaining in the third and final period now. The Finns looking to make it a little more respectable. They're going to maintain their record of having scored just 1 goal in each of their pre-tournament games. And that's all they have tonight. Even that came very late with the United States in front 4-0. The countdown is on. 2 seconds, 1, and now there is no more time as the United States pours out to congratulate goalie John Vanabeesbroek, and I'm sure to congratulate Pat LaFontaine, who scored a couple of goals. And also a man who set them up deserves praise tonight, defenseman Gary Suter. He made some very nice plays for the American team.
He had an excellent hockey game, and I think I'll go back to what we said in the Open. The team that loses this game will not make the Final 4, and certainly Finland, unless, I would say, Sweden collapses, or if Team USA, somebody would have to collapse at this stage for Finland to make the Final 4. But certainly it's the win that Team USA had to have. If they can beat Sweden on Monday night, be a great setup for the Final 4.
Well, these 2 teams will line up for presentations on the respective blue lines here in the Hartford Civic Center, and we'll have that for you in just a moment here with the U.S. winning 4-1. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
And gentlemen, to present the Labatt Player of the Game Awards, here is Jeff Payne, the Regional Sales Manager for Labatt Importers. The Labatt Player of the Game for Team USA with a pair of goals tonight, number 16, Pat LaFontaine. And the Labatt Player of the Game for Team Finland with 36 saves, number 1, Kari Taco. Ladies and gentlemen, Hockey Canada and Labatt, thank you for your attendance tonight and invite you to continue to follow Labatt Canada Cup 87. The next game here at the Civic Center will be Friday night, September 4th.
And there you're looking at Kari Taco, the Labatt Player of the Game for Team Finland. Of course, the Player of the Game for Team USA with 2 goals this evening, Pat LaFontaine, who toils for the New York Islanders of the National Hockey League during the regular season. Taco, of course, is the goaltender for the Minnesota North Stars of the NHL. The final score, Team USA defeating Team Finland 4-1, and this is the opening game for both clubs in this 1987 Canada Cup hockey tournament. Now let's go upstairs to Don Chevrier and Bill Clement.
Okay, Steve, and a good start, a not terribly impressive one early on for the United States, but they got their wings, they began to go, and as you say, maybe now that they have had this 1 game under their belt, they will maybe rise to the challenge of playing the tougher teams, the speedier teams, the more skillful teams, the Soviets certainly in Canada.
Well, you know, one of the most overworked words, I think, in sports is momentum, but at times it's appropriate, and we just have to look back to 1980. You mentioned the gold medal that Team USA won in the 1980 Lake Placid Olympics, and that was a great example of what momentum was all about, including confidence and believing that you can do it. If Team USA goes on to beat Sweden on Monday night, we have to face the fact that they have some very gifted athletes, and I think it would be very possible for them to move up from the ranks of the long shot to somebody that's going to be a very legitimate contender. Confidence builds as each win gets under your belt, and they're underway tonight.
Yeah, the U.S. took a big step toward the Final Four, and I'm afraid Finland may have taken a big step toward the door.
I think so. I honestly believe, and I've asked other people that have studied the Finnish hockey program, that they suffer from an inferiority complex. I don't think that Finland believes they can come into a tournament like this and beat these hockey teams. And until they win a silver medal in the Olympics, or say finish second place or win the Canada Cup, I think the Finnish team is going to be destined to continue with this inferiority complex. We mentioned earlier they have great individuals, but they've never put together a great team.
All right, let's go to Pat LaFontaine, the star of this show certainly tonight for Team USA in a scoring sense. He got not one but two goals.
Well, he's the one that started it, and that was the goal that I think really deflated the Finns. They were kind of at the same energy level early in the game, but after this goal, Gronstrand was handcuffed in the slot, and Pat LaFontaine simply beats a sprawling Kari Taco. I really thought that the Finns became more lethargic, and the energy level for Team USA went up, and it continued to go up the entire game.
Yeah, the U.S. energy increased and the Finnish frustration mounted as the game went on. Taco certainly deserving as the outstanding player of this one tonight. Save after save, but LaFontaine the opportunist again for his second goal.
And he was named the player of the game, and he should be. And I mentioned earlier, the New York Islanders people have to be tickled. He finished with such a strong flourish in the National Hockey League season. Here he is starting off where he left off last year.
He certainly did. Well, the United States wins it by a score of 4-1 over Finland. This is the Labatt Canada Cup.
And Team USA 4, Team Finland 1 in the opening game of the Canada Cup for both clubs. Joining me now is the player of the game for Team Finland, goaltender Kari Taco, who toils for the Minnesota North Stars during the regular season. A rough start for you guys, kind of put you behind the 8 ball to get into that Final Four.
Yeah, and I guess we knew that already before the game, and like you saw during the first period, our game was like upside down. We couldn't give the passes or anything. It was just terrible.
In the first period, or rather the second period, the club had some chances because of the number of power plays they had, but couldn't capitalize.
Yeah, we had good power plays. Well, actually, we didn't get too many shots during the power plays, but we had the puck all the time. I don't know why. And like the game plan was that we are going to give the puck to the blue line and shoot from there and have a screen in front of the net. But I don't know, we didn't have that, so one goal only, and that's all.
Can you get back in it?
I trust my team, but it's tough now. It's up to team, me too, so it's tough to say.
Kari Taco, thank you very much for joining us once again. The final score in this hockey game, Team USA defeating Team Finland 4-1 in the opening game of the 1987 Canada Cup for both clubs. For Don Chevrier and Bill Clement, this is Steve Cooney from the Hartford Civic Center. You've been watching the Labatt Canada Cup.